Another pitch to the Peach State. CJ Papa, Fox News. The former president returns again to Georgia, looking to corral the critical 16 electoral college votes up for grabs in next Tuesday's election.
Former President Donald Trump will have 2 campaign events in Georgia today. That includes a rally here in Atlanta tonight. Trump likes to say he imagines he's running as if he's 1 point behind. He says he's willing to go anywhere and everywhere to get his message out to the voters. And that mentality was on full display in Madison Square Garden last night.
These are the people who are doing such harm to our country with their open border policies, record-setting inflation, Green New scam, and everything else that they're doing.
And Trump spoke in front of a totally packed house at MSG last night, but he also had a very long lineup of speakers who came before him. That included RFK Jr., Dana White, Melania Trump, Hulk Hogan, and Elon Musk.
That's Fox's Bill Malushin reporting in Atlanta. Michigan owns the 4th most electoral college votes of the swing states, and those 15 votes in focus on this Monday. Fox's Manuel Rivera has more.
Harris has been harnessing star power in the last several days to try and boost her momentum. Tonight, singer Maggie Rogers will be joining Harris and Walz in Michigan. One figure notably absent on the campaign trail, though, President Biden. It's not because the president doesn't want to. Quite the opposite, per this report from Axios, which states the president is keen on campaigning for Harris, but Harris's campaign views the president as a political liability and are reluctant to say to him directly they don't want him to campaign for her. The president's team, though, believes there are places and areas where they can help the vice president, like among working class voters in Rust Belt states like Pennsylvania, which, of course, either candidate is so desperately eager to win over.
That is Fox's Manuel Rivera reporting. And President Biden just casting his early vote at a polling spot in Wilmington, Delaware, ahead of next Tuesday's November 5th presidential election. America's listening to Fox News.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Nothing about fall over the next couple of days. 78 for the high this afternoon. Partly sunny skies. Windy. Tonight, lots of clouds. Windy. Very warm overnight. 67. On Tuesday, sunny. Very warm. 84 for the high on Tuesday. The record's 86. So we're going to be close to that. Wednesday, sunny and warm. 82. But much cooler air in here for Halloween. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I know we're all busy. We're working, we're running errands, trying to take care of the kids. It's really easy to put things off. One thing you do not want to put off, though, your annual eye exam. The doctors at Ophthalmology Associates not only gave me the most thorough eye exam I've ever had, but they're also experts in the diagnosis and treatment of all diseases of the eye. Everything from dry eye to macular degeneration and cataracts. Think about this. Your eye health is the window into your overall body health. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranja Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Berry, they can look at your eyes and even tell in some cases if you have early stage diabetes, heart disease, lung problems, even some forms of cancer. They're called the doctor's doctors because they've treated more than 250 doctors. The best part about this is that most insurance plans cover the cost of your annual eye exam. Set up your appointment today, 314-966-5000. Again, 314-966-5000, or go to youridoc.com.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Happy Monday. A week from tomorrow is Election Day, and I am professionally obligated to do it, but I don't know that I can keep up. I had a weekend this weekend. I had things to do. And there was so many things happening this weekend to continue to just push you that little extra bit to go show up at the ballot box and vote. I couldn't keep up with it. There's so much stuff. It's like drinking from a fire hose. What?
I just realized the presidential election and everything, that's like a week away.
From tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh. I totally forgot.
No, you didn't. Can you imagine being in a swing state right now? Like, what we feel?
Yeah. Praying that it gets to Tuesday. Because you are just being inundated by everybody, not just in media, but there's probably people waiting outside of, the grocery store to talk to you.
Do you remember Animaniacs?
Oh, yeah.
Would you like to take a survey?
Oh, yeah. I remember that
episode is like, I mean, I don't know that this election is any different, really. I mean, there are just more places that you can advertise. There are more places that you can show up. And people are probably, from an entertainment standpoint, more interested, not interested, but involved. It's complicated. But if you remember Animaniacs, was that Warner Brothers? It was Warner Brothers, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
Channel
the Warner
11.
sister.
That's
Thank
okay.
you very much. Good job.
There's an episode where they're going around. They're in a mall, which is kind of dating the thing as a whole. And just everywhere the person goes, they show up. Would you like to take a survey?
Yeah.
And the survey is about, do you remember? I think I told you this the other day. Do you remember what the survey was about?
I do not.
Beans.
Oh, I do now. Yeah, that's right.
Because they do the Forrest Gump shrimp scene, but with beans. And they just ask bean questions over and over again. And at some point, like when we're talking about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, I'm like, beans. That's where I am. Beans. People know what they're doing.
Well, in that, what I remember is that because it's a cartoon, they're in places you couldn't be. Like he goes to get a soda and they're in the soda, like they're popping out of everywhere.
Out of the thing, yeah.
And that's got to be electioneers in Pennsylvania right now.
Scott Presler.
Ah!
That meme.
He's in the mirror.
The Scott Presler meme of him being like a guy is camping out in the middle of nowhere, and there's
I haven't seen this.
Bear sneaking up on him on one side, and Scott's on the other side. Be like, have you registered to vote? I see him because he retweets him. People send him to him, and then he retweets him. He also keeps Scott Pressler, who might actually have saved America. We will wait and see. Scott Pressler, if you're unfamiliar with him, he's very much so on X. You'll see him there. But he has made it his goal for, I think, before the non-red wave. I think that he was actively trying to register people in Pennsylvania in 2022. But I'm pretty certain that from 2022 till now, he has spent every day of his life trying to register voters in Pennsylvania to be Republican.
I see his tweets, and it'll be, hey, and this was like in the middle of 23, July of 2023. He's like, well, I just spent 4 hours at a gas station, and I registered 4 voters. You're like, man, that is devotion.
Yeah, he'll be chatting up the waitresses and the waiters, and then be like, are you registered to vote? Yeah. and he has voter registrations in his Honda Civic, which is apparently such a junker. He tweeted one time that he was hoping his tires would make it through. Last week was the end of registration in Pennsylvania. Some people found out about it, retweeted it. They put together a GoFundMe that raised 6 figures of money, and he's going to get a brand new Chevy Tahoe out of this.
Oh, that's cool.
It's the least. You've saved the future of the United States of America. Show him what we got him. A Tahoe.
Hey, I'm not turning that away. That's a good gift.
Better than the alternative of nothing. What case is left to be made with these two candidates? Donald Trump in Madison Square Garden, the numbers that I've seen from multiple places, sold out, full, inside Madison Square Garden. 19,000 people in there, I think, is a sold out crowd. And I saw reports from the NYPD that there were 70,000 people outside. I don't understand that. Like those numbers, I just kind of have this assumption that all numbers are made up, which is not a good place to be. And I'm thinking like if he said 70,000, it was probably like 5,000. But it's not. They show the videos of blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks of people lined up as thick and deep as you can see. And these people came out to, it's New York City. Now I understand that a lot of people who are in New York City may not be New Yorkers, but I think it matters. And then the Kamala Harris, like I said at the beginning of the segment, there is so much stuff that went on this weekend. We had a volleyball tournament this weekend, and I helped coach my daughter's team, so I was engrossed in that for pretty much all of Saturday. So I'm like trying to keep up with all of this stuff. Kamala Harris has a rally in Houston, Texas. Did we talk about Beyonce being there on Friday?
We did no, we did not.
I never mentioned it.
I don't think
so. I feel like maybe I mentioned in passing, but it wasn't a topic of conversation at all. It really seemed like she was going to perform.
Yeah.
That's what the media said. That Beyonce is going to perform tonight at a Kamala Harris rally.
There are definitely headlines that you can see that says that Beyonce would perform. So one could ask themselves, did Beyonce ever say she was going to perform? Did the campaign ever say she was going to perform? And, I think the answer there is no, not necessarily. But when you say Beyonce is going to be at your rally in Houston at what arena was that? It was a football stadium.
Was it
huge.
Reliant?
I don't know.
That's where it used to be Reliant. That's where the Houston team
massive turnout. She spoke for 4 minutes, and that was it.
Yeah, people were booing apparently because they had come to see a performance.
And see, like, I don't trust anything. I trust no one. Like anywhere, anything right now, I feel like everywhere is, would you like to take a survey? And I'm like, no, I don't want to take the survey. When people boo at Donald Trump's rallies, I'll watch these rallies. If I have the time on the weekend to pull it up on YouTube and watch it at home in my living room, I will watch these rallies. Protesters will show up from time to time, try to disrupt Donald Trump. Then the crowd boos the protesters, and then the left goes, people booing Donald Trump at his rally and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not what happened. So I don't know what happened there. But all I do know from the outside looking in is that the implication was that Beyonce was going to be at this rally. And the default when Beyonce is going to show up at an event and you're talking about it as a headline is that she's going to do what Beyonce does and that she's going to perform. And you got to know that there were people who showed up to see her perform. She walked out in a suit, I think it was, with Kelly Rowland, who was wearing... They walked out hand in hand, part of Destiny's Child from the very beginning. And she talked about 4 minutes of the fact that she was going to vote for Kamala. Oh, this is brand new information. What an October surprise. And then that was it. And then
she was Trump 2016 all the way.
Yeah.
This is a shock.
Yes. I mean, that's why you keep it to the week before.
Yeah.
Like, who knew?
Pull it out of the magic bag.
And you just got to ask yourself, like, did you really bait and switch all of those people? And here's the question that I have. This is the real question that I have. Why didn't Beyonce do a song? Why didn't she sing the national anthem? There's so many easy things to do here where you avoid the possibility of making the people who support you feeling like it's a bait and switch. There's so many things that she could do and say and sing and perform, and it wouldn't even have to be the whole, like, get up with the billion dancers and all that stuff. Like, if Beyonce takes the stage and sings the national anthem, you know how these things go. Like, the Whitney Houston national anthem, the Chris Stapleton national anthem from a couple Super Bowls ago, personally for me, people remember those moments, and that puts a pin in that moment in time. That Beyonce performance was at a Kamala Harris rally in a packed football stadium. I'm going to be honest. I said I was busy. I don't even know what Beyonce said. I read articles and tweets and headlines about it, and it was like something about abortion, women's rights, vote for Kamala. I already knew all of that. Beyonce did not need to show up there, and she doesn't make an impression when she shows up there and she doesn't do the thing that Beyonce does. They roll Bruce Springsteen out of his cryogenic chamber in order to come out there and act like he's still 40 years younger than he is. Do you like Bruce Springsteen?
No.
Not really, no.
And not because of politics.
No,
I just don't love his music that much.
There's never been a time where I'm like, he's the boss, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And Tony Danza.
Yes. He's the better boss.
I agree.
There's never been a time where Bruce Springsteen has done his Bruce Springsteen thing, and I've been like, gosh, that's as American as it gets. I just love that. So it's a taste thing. But watching it at a diminished level is even less good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not great. It was a weekend where there was a lot happening. Obviously, last weekend, this coming weekend, it's going to be non-stop. They are going to get anything they can in front of you. This is where it becomes not just if you're in a swing state. This is you're living in Illinois and Missouri. They're trying to get you now. It is going to be in your face this week.
Yeah.
And like you just got to make sure you can trust what they're saying, what they're reporting.
To me, it's like I'm questioning everything everywhere all the time because I already know what I'm going to do based on the brain cells that I used in my very own head, in my own personal lived experience. There's nothing anyone else is going to come out there and tell me that's going to change my mind. Not a thing. And I believe the only persuadable measure in anything that is left is if you're going to vote. And that's an effort worth making. But I don't know that the saturation of what we're going to see right now, people aren't going to all of a sudden go, oh, is that now? is there something I'm supposed to do? That's not what's going to materialize out of this. But there's so much. The Donald Trump rally at Madison Square Garden, I couldn't believe the pictures that I was seeing on Twitter when I was looking through it. And I ended up watching, I saw Elon Musk. I saw the person who introduced Elon Musk, who was a New York businessman. Those two were great. Some of them I thought, oh, they did really well. And other ones I was like, you should be better at this than they were delivering. I actually thought Dr. Phil was really fantastic when he came out there. And at one point, because he hasn't been Mr. Trump.
No.
He's not been out on, you watch him and you're like, he kind of seems like he could be conservative. He seems to have a common basic sense of himself and a penchant for decency that I don't see from people who are actively supporting the left from Hollywood. And when when Dr. Phil goes out there, did you hear anything about what he had to say?
No, I didn't.
Did you
I
listen
watched
to it?
Yeah.
Dr. Phil, when he's out there talking, he's a psychiatrist. I guess he's a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. I don't know. He knows those type of relationships. He knows what people goes through. He understands the human condition. He talked about bullying. He talked about Donald Trump being on the main stage and A, how bullies function, and B, how people who are bullied function. And he said at one point, anytime that you identify bullying and bullying behavior, if you know that bullying is happening and you choose to not do something to stop it or to support the person who is being bullied, then you are a party to the bullying. And that's kind of, I don't know that he said directly, but I think that's why he went out on the stage, because he's probably felt a certain kind of way for a long time about what was going on. He probably has more conservative principles about him, but I think a lot of people in Hollywood can have those principles, but you're like, I'm not saying that out loud. Why would I say? I mean, I'm going to vote that way. I'll talk to my close circle that way, but I'm not going to put it out there for the world to see. And it really felt like Dr. Phil was like, I should say it out loud. I should practice what I preach. And he goes, you know, Hollywood tomorrow, you do what I'm doing right now. Hollywood wakes up and says, that guy's never going to get a job again. And he goes, the good news is for me is I don't need a job. And that was his message. And I was like, yes, that's the middle finger, so to speak, to the cancel culture that has decimated our ability to build a better culture. Because if people out there control the messenger and they control what people will say and what they won't say, then they get to choose what is permitted. They get to be the gatekeepers. What you need is that good old-fashioned, stubborn American First Amendment spirit that says, no, I'm not about that. I'm actually about this. And I'm going to tell you that, and I don't give a crap if you agree with me or not. And everybody needs to do that, because when everybody speaks out about who they are, why they are the way they are, when everybody puts that out there, then everybody's individual opinion matters less. Nobody gets to have the upper hand. And then we start caring about each other as people, not as about opinions, not about which camp you're in and what color uniform you wear, red or blue or whatever it might be. We are so close to being able to wake up in this country again, for us here to come back on the show again. And I'm not using this word tongue in cheek, but to actually have joy in what we're seeing on a day-to-day basis in this country. We are so close. Make sure you early vote. Get it done. Get it taken care of. Don't put it off. Brad voted this weekend. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Maybe you're somebody who has, if you're in the state of Missouri, state of Illinois, maybe you're somebody who is questioning some of the ballot measures that are out there. Maybe, you know, like, well, of course I'm voting for Donald Trump and I'm going to vote for Kehoe and whatever. But what are all these other things that are on the ballot? Maybe you've been putting it off. Well, we are excited to, when we come back, we're going to have Missouri's Secretary of State here in studio with us here on the crew. And we're going to talk about the ballot measures that are on the ballot. And we're also going to take your phone calls. And Ryan, we're going to field some of those messages from the Odyssey app. This is so incredibly simple to do. If you have any questions, Brad, correct me if I'm wrong here, any questions about voting, the ballot measures,
right,
the candidates that are running for whatever, the Secretary is going to talk about that one for the rest of the hour.
Yes.
So we'll field your questions. How do people, Ryan, get on their app, the AUDACY Odyssey app right now, and just record it straight in your phone and we get it?
Yeah, in the Odyssey app, if you're listening to 97.1, which is the reason that you would want to download the Odyssey app, obviously, then you just click on the microphone, which is right there in the bottom corner. It's real easy to find. You click it, it starts recording. You click it, it stops. Then you hit send, we get it.
Yeah, you get to approve it before you send it.
Yeah.
And then when you send it, we might play it on the air. In this hour, for Missouri's Secretary of State, Jay Ashcroft, in studio with us for the rest of the noon hour on a Monday, Annie Fry Show. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
CiviaLaw.com. If you are looking to plan your will, your estate, a trust, which I highly recommend, get yourself out of the situation where probate comes in and kind of runs the show. If you've heard of probate, then you might know a lot more about this than I'm going to briefly explain here. But if you haven't, if you pass away, if your loved one passes away, if both of you pass away and your estate goes on to whoever you've determined to inherit whatever it is, you need to make sure that it doesn't go into probate, which is where basically the government takes over. You lose privacy, you lose money, you definitely lose time. This involves, especially if you have children. I think I'm 40 years old, and we just signed our documents last week. Now we're going through the trust funding process with Civia Law. But you need to make sure that if you are my age and you have kids, that you have all of your plans signed, sealed, delivered with Civia Law, with a lawyer, an attorney, a team of attorneys that you can trust to guide you through this process. They ask you the questions that you wouldn't think of yourself, and they make sure that you are guided and comforted through the whole thing so that your plan is what is executed. 833-995-WILL. 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 Call Todd Civia and the Civia Law Firm today and tell them Annie sent you. Civia, Sivia, CiviaLaw.com.
Have you set your appointment up yet to have your furnace checked to make sure you are good and ready to go for this winter? It's really, really a great idea to have it done for your own peace of mind and for your safety also. Definitely check your furnace before you use it. You can go to my website. It's bartinman.com, and we'll have pictures up of what we've seen and what we've seen and found that the homeowners had no clue that this danger existed. Most have no idea what I'm talking about now, but if you went to the website, if you're not going to have me come out or another company come out and check, then you'll know what to look for on your furnace and hot water heater also. So my number, again, it's Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest number, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com, Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Republican Adam Schnelting is a husband, father, and a soldier. As an Army combat engineer, Schnelting is trained to fight for us. He's trained to solve problems. As state representative, Adam fought to keep men out of our daughters' bathrooms and sports. He voted to cut our taxes and fully fund our schools. He led the charge in Missouri to secure our border and address the fentanyl crisis. He even earned the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Adam Schnelting for State Senate.
I'm Adam Schnelting, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schnelting for Missouri, Mike Summer, Treasurer.
If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, write this number down or put it into your phone. 800-211-4413. The IRS is hiring more staff and cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to learn about our tax debt reduction programs and how to stop the collection efforts. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or years of unpaid taxes, even if you're already in a payment plan, we can help. Through special IRS programs, you may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a fraction of what you owe. Tax Relief Helpers has helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. No matter what amount you or your business owe to the IRS, call our tax relief hotline now for a free consultation and see what savings you may qualify for. Don't tackle the IRS on your own, and don't risk having your wages, Social Security, even your pension seized. Call now. Call 800-211-4413. That's 800-211-4413. 800-211-4413.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Fall weather is on its way. Time to schedule your heating system check to make sure you heat your home safely. Schedule your heating system check today at aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 FM Talk is your home for Election Night 2024. On air and online, we're covering the races that matter most to you with real-time results and expert commentary. Democracy 2024.
Take a seat right over there, sat on the stairs, stay or leave.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
I know we meant all good intentions, so pull me closer. Why don't you pull me close? Why don't you come on over? I can't just let you go. Oh, baby.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for being with us on a Monday before Election Day. And in Missouri, Illinois too, but we've been voting for weeks and weeks and weeks. Did you know in Missouri you can early vote right now? Well, we were able to snag the Secretary of State of the state of Missouri. Jay Ashcroft is in here with us right now. Secretary, thank you for coming in and hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me. What a beautiful day.
It's a gorgeous day out there. I want to first and foremost ask the question that affects the most people listening right now, and you can speak to what you know nationally, but also what you've done in the state of Missouri. I don't know how you feel about the mood of the election right now, but I heard Tucker Carlson say this at the Trump rally this weekend, and it's exactly what I was thinking. I don't think that I would believe results that indicated right now that Kamala Harris is beating Trump, because there's nothing out there that tells my everyday common sense brain that she's winning. The question everyone has is, are these elections going to be secure?
Well, I would have a real tough time believing that Kamala Harris won Missouri.
Yeah.
But you know what? I trust Missouri's elections. I haven't liked all the outcomes we've had the last couple of months, but I trust them.
Yeah.
And I want the people to trust them. I invite people that don't trust them to be a part of them, to be poll watchers, to be poll workers, to come behind and see. We're not going to be boarding up windows. We're not looking at ones and zeros on a machine. The paper ballot is the official ballot. That's what we use for the audits when we hand count them. That's when we use if there's a recount. I mean, look at what we've done to get rid of the private money in elections. Look what we've done to get rid of ballot curing, to outlaw ballot drop boxes. Look at what we've done with implementing a real government photo ID requirement. I wish we could have gotten the legislature to allow us to use those photo IDs to prove citizenship also.
Mm-hmm.
But I trust the elections in Missouri. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, other places. I'm from Missouri. You're going to have to show me that they're well run before I'm necessarily going to trust it.
Georgia made a lot of changes from 2020 to now. What can you say to what we've heard about those Georgia laws? They lost the All-Star game over it, and in like the most screw around and find out way, they decided, well, we'll take the World Series. You can have the All-Star game. And then they won. Like, if karma wasn't smiling down in that moment in time. But what do you think about Georgia? Georgia's a must-win for Donald Trump.
You know, I think the Department of Justice is scared with what's happening. That's why they're suing states like Alabama and Virginia and other states. They've seen that changes have been made to make our elections more secure, to actually put the power and make sure that it's exercised by the voters. And we see politicians on one side of the aisle that scares them because they don't trust that people will make the decision they want. And I'm encouraged by the fact, it's kind of perverse, I'm encouraged by the fact that the Department of Injustice is suing states. But what it means is they think that it's working, that they're doing the right things, and they're scared. So, you know, I am a big believer in we the people getting involved. Elections are not for candidates, they're for we the people.
Amen.
And the more we need is we need more people getting out to vote. We need more people being a part of the process. We need more people being part of the teams that go ahead and do the certification afterwards. I mean, even on election night, and in Missouri, 10 or 11 o'clock at night, we'll know who's won all the elections. It's something I'm proud of. But even after that, there's going to be 2 weeks in Missouri of local election authorities going back over things. We want the people of the state involved in that. We don't have anything to hide except how any single individual votes their ballot.
Yeah, amen to that. Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft in studio with us right now. What is, I think that a lot of people know just enough to be super dangerous when it comes to like what makes an election secure, but also what did we see in 2020 that made you go, oh my gosh, what are we doing in these particular states? Like, what are the big red flags for you when this is your job to make sure Missouri is secure?
Well, even in Missouri, our legislature passed a law that would allow anybody who wanted to mail in their ballot. I came out against that, was defeated by the legislature. They passed it anyway, but that's ridiculous. We're trusting the post office for maybe the most important thing that we do as citizens? No. We want people to show up in person. We want them to prove who they are with that government ID. We saw states that had the willy-nilly use of drop boxes, and then on camera you see people coming suddenly wearing gloves right after there was a prosecution for vote fraud in Arizona, dumping in just packets and tens, if not hundreds of ballots
Secretary,
at a time.
paper cuts. Paper cuts are dangerous. You can get infected.
We saw Pennsylvania where they just ignored their own constitution with regard to absentee ballots. I mean, we saw it up in Wisconsin, and then look at the trouble they had in the quote trouble that just happened to happen in Arizona on Election Day in Republican-leaning polling precincts.
Yeah.
Secretary Ashcroft, I think, talking about what's in the rearview mirror, most people are looking ahead to this election and saying, okay, based on what you've done in Missouri, I don't hear a lot of people going, oh, man, I'm really worried about Missouri. It's the swing states that have had so much attention on them and people trying to manipulate those laws. What are you most concerned about going into this election, maybe in other states?
Worried about absentee ballots, worried about rolls that haven't been cleaned. We saw a lawsuit up in Michigan where Jocelyn Benson, the Secretary of State, has just refused to clean the rolls.
Yeah.
Right now she says, well, I can't do it. Well, A, you can. The federal law prohibiting it is unconstitutional. States are given control of who's allowed to register to vote. That's in Article 1, Section 2. It's in the Presidential Electors Clause and in the 17th Amendment. I mean, what's happening in Virginia with the governor? He's right. The Department of Injustice is wrong, and I wish he'd point that out. But the inflated voter rolls, there are people that are still concerned that we're going to see ballots injected into the system. There were concerns about that in the Pennsylvania area. Frankly, there's got to be more transparency into the system, and we've got to require people to vote in person.
Converse to that, what have you seen in these states that you're encouraged by? What movements have they made that's better than 2020?
Well, I'm encouraged that one of the candidates for president is finally getting out into interviews and answering questions. And I think
the more she does that, the better.
The question is different, but the answer is always the same. And I think that people of the country are realizing, hey, wait a minute, we don't want to go back to what we've had the last 4 years. And on the other side, you've got the vice presidential candidate on the other side is doing a great job, I think, of saying, do you want where you are now or 4 years ago? But look, not even the president of the United States is better off now than he was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 years ago, he could actually pick his flavor of ice cream.
Man, this doesn't have anything to do with your job specifically, but you're a political observer. Do you think that the Kamala Harris-Joe Biden relationship is strained?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, he was pushed out. She did not receive a single vote to be the presidential nominee this year.
That's really quite something.
There were millions of votes for Joe Biden. Now, you could talk a lot about how ridiculous their primary was, how they refused to let people be on the ballot, how they threw them off the ballot, how it was machined and gamed to make sure that it was Joe Biden. But for her to talk about democracy and we're a constitutional republic, but even if it were, wouldn't that seem to indicate that she should have gotten at least one vote?
One, yeah.
One?
One. She bailed in the other primary before it happened because she was polling so terribly.
Well, she heard the message loud and clear.
Yeah, she did then. Okay, so we've got Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft in here with us. Secretary, at this point in time, we've been dealing with this for a while now. People are developing calluses to the election. Everybody, even whether you're super excited for it to get here or not because you're worried or excited about your candidate and how they're doing, there is a lot of money in businesses and third parties surrounding those elections. And usually the product that these third parties are trying to acquire is the voter. And there's a lot of data that gets put out of there. You get asked a lot of questions. People become super skeptical. Sometimes it's a poll that it'd be good to participate in that. Sometimes it may not be. What do you want to tell voters in the state of Missouri right now or anybody else listening how to approach these last few days smartly?
Well, frequently, if they're not charging you, they're selling you. And that's an important thing to keep in mind. We want to make sure that the people of Missouri know where to get factual information about our elections. We'll leave the information about candidates to the candidates and to the campaigns. But when it comes to knowing when you can vote, what you need to vote, where to vote, when the polling places are open, we want them going to the Secretary of State's website. We've heard concerns from individuals that were reached by a third party that said they could sign up to have a reserved appointment for when they wanted to vote absentee. We don't do reserved appointments. We do treat everybody pretty democratically. Whoever shows up first, you're first in line. And we just want to make sure that when people are giving out their data, they know who they're giving it out to and they're doing it intentionally. And they know that they're getting the truth, because there's, no offense to radio stations, include TV stations, not every political ad is honest. Let's just put it that way. And there are a lot of scammers and grifters involved in the process. They don't care about the outcome. They just care about using you, either your money or your data, to get money.
Well, and that's the thing about advertising candidates at this time of the election. Usually there are truths that are said, but it's never the full context. It's never the whole story. So we all have to do our own research.
I learn a lot about myself when I run. It's
Yeah.
amazing that I don't remember that about
Oh.
myself if it's true.
You got to have the thickest skin. I don't know how you guys do it. Let's take a quick break. We're going to keep the Secretary of State here in Missouri around for another break, because we are going to talk about all of these amendments that Missourians need to know about and may have questions about. If you have a question for the Secretary of State, Ryan, tell them how they can send us their audio here, so we could maybe, if we get a few of those that we want to put on the air, we can let the Secretary hear them in their own words.
Yeah, if you're listening in the Odyssey app, click the microphone button. It is right there on the same page you should be on if you're listening. And you can record a message. You can also listen to that message before you send it in, but then you just hit send and we get it.
Perfect. All right. The Odyssey app, right there where 97.1 is streaming 24/7, crystal clear everywhere. But right here on 97.1 FM Talk as well. We'll be back with the Secretary of State of the state of Missouri, Jay Ashcroft, when we come back. Don't go away.
So pull me closer. Why don't you pull me closer?
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
The Diamond Shop, they're in Clayton, Missouri. Did you know that the Diamond Shop has been in St. Louis since 1910? That means that there is a little bit of success behind this family-owned and operated business. And I'm a customer myself of the Diamond Shop. I enjoy the people there because I trust the people there. If you're going to make an investment in a piece of jewelry, in a watch, in some beautiful set of diamond studs, which through the rest of October, and October is ticking away, folks. 50% off diamond studs at the Diamond Shop. If you're going to make that kind of investment in something that is timeless, that you could hand down to generations to come, you want to make sure that you're doing it in a place that is going to give you a great quality product for a great price. And if you go to thediamondshop.net right now, you can sign up to become a VIP. If you go to the bottom of the homepage, there's just a quick form that you can fill out there, often get extra savings and discounts. And don't forget, the Diamond Shop offers you 6 months, same as cash financing. When you go to make that purchase, that can stretch out the payment process a little bit, make it a little more comfortable so you can get the thing that you've been looking for. Go shop with our friends and partners at the Diamond Shop and become a VIP by scrolling to the bottom of the page at thediamondshop.net.
Getting new hardwood, carpet, laminate, or vinyl flooring at one of those big box or discount stores, put it on hold. As in Reinhold. Reinhold Flooring, covering St. Louis and beyond since 1988. Residential or builder, you'll find everything you need in our showroom on Telegraph. When it comes to investing in your home, you want the best in carpet, laminate, vinyl flooring, or area rugs. Put those others on hold with Reinhold Flooring. Stop by Telegraph Road or learn more at reinholdflooring.com.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-481-4455. 800-481-4455. That's 800-481-4455.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft is in studio with us. If you have questions for him or about really anything on the ballot that you either have or have not, I would have guessed that you have not, if you still have questions, voted yet, submit those either on the Annie Fry stream right now or through the various means that you can contact the station, including through the app. 1244, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show.
All right, Taylor Swift. I'm really waiting for her to show up somewhere and not sing and tell us who she's going to vote for.
Just walk
she's
on
running out of
stage.
time. Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft in here with us. Did you see Beyonce went and spoke for 4 minutes and didn't perform? At the Kamala Harris
I have
rally?
4 kids and a job. I
Same.
don't have time.
That's the best answer possible.
Yes, I'm busy living my life.
I don't care.
This whole thing about this weekend, I think it was supposed to be Friday night, Kamala Harris is going to have this huge rally. She did have a huge rally. Beyonce was there. She spoke for 4 minutes. She didn't sing. I would be so ticked if I were there, even if I was definitely still going to vote for Kamala. We've got, as I said, the Secretary of State in here, and there are a lot of things for Missourians to consider on their ballots this year. We're going to do this for Illinois, but there's a lot less going on in Illinois because we are not electing our statewide in this election. We do that in the off years. So let me first let you tee this up, Secretary. The ballot measures, what people need to understand when they get there and they look at their ballot. A lot of people think they're going to walk in, check the box for Trump, and then walk away. There's a lot more going on than that.
Ballots are very long. I would encourage everyone to get a sample ballot so to know exactly what's going to be on the ballot. You can use that as your cheat sheet, and as you research the people and the issues, decide who you're going to vote for or not. You can write that on your sample ballot. But especially with the statewide issues, we've got, I think, 6 of them. We've got a statutory change and a bunch of constitutional amendments. I would encourage everybody to go to sos.mo.gov. There's a big banner at the top of the page, and you can read the actual language, not necessarily what I think or what someone else would make it as the summary. You can read the actual language and make your own decision about where you stand on the amendments and the initiative petition or the statutory change.
The first one, Amendment 2, that I'm looking at right now, we hear a lot about this one. I think they're advertising on this station, too. A lot of the sports teams are pro-Amendment 2, and I'm reading it right now. The official ballot title, do you want to amend the Missouri Constitution to allow the Missouri Gaming Commission to regulate licensed sports wagering, including online sports betting, gambling, boats, professional sports betting districts, and mobile licenses to sports betting operators? And then there are a few more points. As you said, if you go to the Secretary of State website, you can read all the details. Yep. What should people know about this one?
It's pretty simple. If you think it's good for people to be able to bet on games and some of that tax money hopefully to go to the state, you should vote yes. If you don't think it's good for the state, vote no. I mean, this is pretty simple, and I like these.
You said hopefully go to the state. This sounds like lottery and education.
Well, there is some discrepancy. If you're watching TV, you'll see one ad that says there's going to be a couple $100 million that goes to education. And the next ad will be against the very same thing, and it will say that there won't be any money going to education. I would encourage people to look at what the state auditor did. He ran the numbers, read the language, and said, well, it could be this or it could be this. That language is on our website also. I can't tell you for sure what will happen with it, but the state auditor did a great write-up.
RSG said on YouTube, on Missouri Amendment 2, Sports Betting Initiative, how much money actually goes towards education. Is that part of what that audit was looking to determine?
Some people will tell you it could be 100, 200 million. Others will tell you, looking at the data, it could be zero. So it's not for me to tell people.
Sounds like government to me. Ryan, did you have a question that you wanted to ask for us here?
Yeah, I'm going to highlight one from Rick. Actually, he's representing a few different questions here. He says, with the influx of immigrants and the lack of verifiable proof of U.S. citizenship, people kind of talking about this nationally, from nationalization papers, how are we supposed to accept election results? How do you trust it?
Well, I mean, that's why there's a certification process. That's why we're transparent about it. But he's right in that it would be a whole lot easier to trust the election if the legislature would just allow us to require proof of citizenship to register and proof of citizenship to vote. The people of this state in 2016 passed a constitutional amendment to allow a photo ID requirement that would prove not just identity and residency, but citizenship. But unfortunately, our state Senate has refused to pass a bill that would allow me to implement that.
That was my next question, because I was assuming you were talking about federal legislature. You're talking about Missouri legislature.
Yeah, the federal government actually can't do it.
Okay.
It's a misnomer, but if you actually read the United States Constitution, which...
What?
Well, hey, patriots read the Constitution.
What did you say?
The Constitution gives the states specific authority to decide the qualifications of electors. We see that with Article 1, Section 2 for who's allowed to vote for the House of Representatives. I think it's Article 2, Section 1, Clause 1, but I got to remember for the
Brian, is that
presidential
if it's
electors.
Clause 2, I am going to be so
And
mad.
then the 17th Amendment. So the states control it. And the fact that we don't have a citizenship requirement is due to states failing to do their job. If a state wants, they can allow non-citizens to vote. That's why our legislature needs to say no dice.
We're speaking with the Secretary of State here, Jay Ashcroft, in studio with us. Jackie asked this, and I think you kind of touched on this. She said, Annie, I know ID is required, but is it already required that the voter must be a U.S. citizen?
The law, it kind of goes back to an old saying when I was a child, a locked door only stops an honest man.
Okay.
The law says you have to be a citizen, but we are not allowed to require proof of that, either by state law or by federal law. And we need the state to require proof of citizenship, because then I'll happily go to court against the feds once again.
That'll set you up.
I'm in court against the feds right now, I think my employers are.
We'll write you an excuse slip here in a second. Yeah. Rick left us a voice message on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Here's what Rick wanted to say. Let's listen in.
We need more early voting stations. Shouldn't have to wait 2 hours to vote. Thank you.
That's Rick. Now, there seems to be record early vote turnout, so maybe this is unusual, but what is the frequency of polling stations? How do you figure that out?
The number of polling stations is set up by the local election authority. Frequently, they are stressed to find enough poll workers to actually make sure they have the bipartisan teams to do that.
Can people still sign up to be a poll worker?
Yes, but not for this election, probably. It's probably too late for the training, but if you sign up now, they will call you every time there's an election until you die. Yeah. And they'd be very thankful for you.
You will be theirs.
One thing I want to say is voting early in person is better than voting by mail.
Yes.
But this country worked for several hundred years when people went to vote on Election Day. And when you look at places where we have trouble getting the votes or people aren't trusting the tabulation, they tend to be places that use mail-in ballots or people are voting early. If we could just get back to people voting on Election Day in person, we'd be a whole lot better off.
Amen.
I'm pulling another one from a listener here. This is from Barry. Now, this is not something I'm familiar with, so I'd like to know more. Barry says, no one's talking about the minimum wage amendment, especially the automatic increase each year depending on inflation. He says this will just drive up inflation even more in the future, but he wants to know more about it.
Of the statewide issues, we have 5 constitutional amendments and 1 statutory one. That's Proposition A, and it will raise the minimum wage. It will also require sick time for employees, and after that minimum wage is raised, it will then float according to CPI. If you want the minimum wage, I don't think the minimum wage is the job that you're supposed to raise a family on. When I was a kid, my first job at 15 years old was a Dairy Queen. If they had to pay me $20 an hour, I wouldn't have gotten a job. Same. They would have had a robot doing that. So if you think we should raise the minimum wage, vote for it. But if you're like me, I want to make sure people can get that first job, build that experience.
Yeah, I think that's really a smart move. You said one's a constitutional, one's a statutory. Can you just tell us what that means when you say that?
Yeah, Prop A, the minimum wage, that's just a statutory change. The legislature, with the signature of the governor, can change that at any time. A constitutional amendment precludes any statutory changes. Constitutional change can only be changed by a vote of the people.
Ender, a frequent commenter on our Annie Fry YouTube channel, said, piggyback off of RSG's question from earlier, what's the guarantee that the money will go to the schools on Amendment 2? So we kind of asked the question how much money would go, but does Amendment 2 dictate that if whatever set amount is, has to go to schools?
There is language in there.
I don't like where this is going. No. Say no more.
There's no money to be made in betting that the government will do what the government says it's going to do.
Yeah, there's money to be made in the other way.
It will go to court. You need to read that language yourself, sos.mo.gov, and make your own decision. There are times when they've said one thing and they've done another thing. There are fewer times, but there have been a couple times when they've actually done what they said they would do.
We have the Secretary of State, Jay Ashcroft, in studio with us right now. Ryan, you got another question?
Another question from the stream. Where do you go to early vote? This person specifically saying, I can't find it for Lincoln County, but I figure there's a lot of people asking that question.
Call your local election authority in Lincoln County. That'd be your county clerk. If you don't know how to contact them, we have contact information for all of the local election authorities, 116 of them across the state, on our website, sos.mo.gov, under elections. Those are set up by your local election authority.
So for this individual, they say they're in Lincoln County. They could just Google
probably the courthouse, but I'm not sure.
Lincoln County clerk,
yep.
And then there's a phone number and just start asking them questions.
Or they can call us. We're happy for them to go to our website, hit that number at the bottom. We're happy to help them.
Let's see. We just did that one. Did you have any other questions there that you wanted to fire off on?
Yeah, there is one more here. Excuse me. This is from Jacob. He says, what are the rules on drive-through voting? In Booter Library, he says, or at Booter Library, I saw people driving up, filling out a ballot, handing it to a worker, then disappeared inside without being able to see if it was submitted.
I think you could do that on the Tucker right here.
There are a lot of election authorities that, for maybe people with certain disabilities or the like, when they're not too busy, will send out a bipartisan team to vote you in your car. They should be using a bipartisan team. They should never just have one individual at the ballot. Always should have a bipartisan team.
We've only got like a minute left here. Jay Ashcroft in studio with us. Last message to the Missouri voter right now. Obviously, you've been very clear. Go to the Secretary of State website with your questions. But a very important election here coming up.
Yeah, it's important. Get that sample ballot. Do your own education and vote. I think everybody listening would understand that government's way too important to leave to the elected folks.
These are the most honest answers. Well, okay.
I've seen it firsthand.
Look, I'll tell you what's in it, and I'll tell you that it's kind of murky.
That's why you got to do your research. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to advise on how to vote on any of these particular
ones. One other
ones.
thing, if you don't know how to vote on somebody, vote no.
I was just going to say.
It's their job to convince you that they would do a good job. And if you're wrong, maybe you put the fear of God into them anyway.
Yes. If they have not done their job to make it clear to you why you should vote for something, then don't vote for it.
Throw them out.
They clearly can't handle communicating a message. If everything is murky and confusing, then make people earn your vote. It's yours to give, not theirs to take. Well, Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, thank you for being in here with us.
Thank you very much.
It's great to see you again, and we will have you back with frequency here as this election unfolds, and we'll have some shots fired at all the area states and all the shenanigans that may or may not happen. But we will hopefully. Last question: are we going to have results on election night? Your prediction?
Of course.
For this country.
We will in Missouri.
Yeah, I know. Okay. You answered that very, very well.
The real question is whether they will be good results.
That's the real question. You think they will?
I'm hopeful.
Okay. Let's stick around here. Steve Moore is going to be with us, I believe. I'm not sure if we got him confirmed, but we're going to talk about the economy next, and Congressman Mike Bost from the other side of the river in the 1 o'clock hour. Don't go away.
The future of cool, comfortable sleep is here. Introducing the new Sleep Number Climate Cool Smart Bed. The only smart bed in the world that actively cools and effortlessly adjusts to both of you. Sleep up to 15 degrees cooler on each side. It actively cools to keep you cool and comfortable throughout the night. Save on smart beds now during our fall sale, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Get a Lutheran education for your child, for your grandchild. Consider alternatives. You don't have to be stuck in a public school system that you're questioning everything all the time, everywhere. Even when you're in a good public school, you just have to be incredibly on your guard. And I'm not going to say if you have your child in a Lutheran school, you don't have to. But there are just some things that you understand and that you know when your child is being educated in a Lutheran school environment. I send my children to a Lutheran school. It is a priceless investment. And I know that I'm building a foundation much broader than math and science and English, but definitely excellent in math and science and English. LESASTL.org. That's LESASTL.org. Reach out to them and talk to them about how you can access a Lutheran school education. They are accessible. It is affordable. You just need to reach out and have that conversation. LisaSTL.org/Annie. Add the /Annie on the end of it and start the process today.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Final countdown. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News. Vice President Kamala Harris heading back on the campaign trail with just over a week to go before the presidential election. Fox's Jackie Heinrich reporting from Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Vice President Harris made the democracy pitch again yesterday in Philadelphia. Today in Michigan, she's going to be playing up manufacturing jobs that came out of investments from the CHIPS Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, and that might be because her biggest financial supporters are crying out for a messaging shift. The headline in the New York Times this morning reads, Pro-Harris Super PAC raises concerns about focusing on Trump and fascism. The group Future Forward warned that attacking Donald J. Trump as a fascist or questioning his character or stamina are less effective than highlighting Kamala Harris's proposals. According to a new Axios report, President Biden wants to help Harris out and get on the campaign trail in this final stretch, but the campaign is reportedly telling the president, we'll get back to you.
And that was Fox's Jackie Heinrich. Former President Donald Trump keeping his campaign rally schedule, heading back to a swing state following his event in New York City.
Former President Trump is back in Georgia today, a key swing state where polls show him to be in contention for winning. His appearances follow a widely attended and viewed rally Sunday night at New York City's Madison Square Garden. Today, the former president heads to the town of Powder Springs, Georgia, outside Atlanta for the inaugural summit of the National Faith Advisory Board. Following that, he holds another rally in Atlanta at the indoor arena on the Georgia Tech campus. Eben Brown, Fox News.
The New York Post reporting the two campaigns have raised a whopping $2.5 billion. The Harris-Walz campaign, hybrid committees and PACs have raised an astounding $1.39 billion, including some funds transferred from President Biden's defunct campaign. Meanwhile, Trump and Senator J.D. Vance's campaign and the committees and PACs have raised $1.09 billion. America's listening to Fox News.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Nothing about fall over the next couple of days. 78 for the high this afternoon. Partly sunny skies. Windy. Tonight, lots of clouds. Windy. Very warm overnight. 67. On Tuesday, sunny. Very warm. 84 for the high on Tuesday. The record's 86. So we're going to be close to that. Wednesday, sunny and warm. 82. But much cooler air in here for Halloween. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Man, I get to do some great endorsements, and I'll tell you what, it's actually pretty easy when you get to eat a great steak and get to talk about it on the radio. Andrea's Steakhouse is fantastic. Been going there my whole life, been eating Andrea's steak sauce on steaks my whole life. That's due to my dad, who grew up, or he raised me on Andrea's steak sauce. Man, my dad is a grill master, and he went there this weekend, actually, for my parents' anniversary, and I asked him what he got. He said, Mom got a lobster pasta dish. He had prime rib and lobster tail dinner. And I wasn't. He's like, gosh, it's so good. He's been going there his whole life. He's still like, oh, gosh, it's so good. So if you've never been to Andrea's Steakhouse, make it your next occasion regardless, or make up an occasion just to go there. It's on the Illinois side of the river, Fairview Heights, O'Fallon, Illinois. They do make their steak sauce right there, internationally shipped all over the world, made right here in St. Louis. Get a bottle of Andrea's steak sauce while you're at it at the restaurant or at Dierberg's or Schnucks.
Right now, 38 states allow for sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 professional soccer teams, the KC Current and St. Louis City. These days, Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much, but the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor are both supporting Amendment 2 because it means more money for education. Amendment 2 isn't like the lottery. There's a strong constitutional guarantee. The new money from sports betting will go to our schools. $100 million for education without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Vote yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges. So know your judges before you vote November 5th. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org. That's yourmissouriJudges.org.
Paid for by the Missouri Bar, Misha Epps, Executive Director.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Ribicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Ribicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
Election night. Join St. Louis's home for conservative talk for comprehensive, up-to-the-minute coverage of the most critical election of our time.
Your trusted voices on election night, Tuesday, November 5th. Catch all the action live on air and online.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I just can't with this election. It's still going. Would you like to take a survey? I started the show this way. The Animaniacs, they had it right. What year do you think that was? 1998?
Yeah.
Something like that?
95 to 98,
97.
somewhere around there.
I'll say 97. Because I was still watching cartoons, and that would have been a little old for
I
me.
wonder if but the Animaniacs were...
They were funny, though.
They were... If you were little and watching the Animaniacs, they weren't as entertaining. It was so fast-paced. It was a little above the, slapstick stuff. Sometimes. Not always.
It was smart slapstick.
Polymarket tweeted out at 12:03 today. Polymarket is, according to their X profile, trade, politics, news, culture, and tech. Get live, unbiased 2024 election forecasts. This is where people, as I understand it, bet on what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So this is put your money where your mouth is. And I'm going to give you the results here of what they have as of noon today in 6 swing states, the percent chance of Donald Trump or Kamala Harris winning. So hold on, put a pin in that. Joe Biden voted today. Did you know that?
Yes.
Did he know that?
No.
Oh. Joe Biden voted today. Do you think he voted for Kamala?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I don't think he did.
No? Who do you think he voted for?
Leave it blank. Write himself in.
He could have wrote himself in. He could have voted for Jill Stein.
Would you blame him for writing himself in?
No.
I would not vote for her on principle. I mean, if even if the rumors weren't out there as much about, the word that people keep using is acrimony. Have you heard the word acrimony used in the sense of
like holy acrimony?
That's matrimony.
This is like holy acrimony.
Okay.
Holy bitterness or ill feeling.
Wow.
That's
Acrimony is
acrimony.
great.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. Acrimonious. Haven't you ever been on the same side of like a greater issue, a greater picture as somebody else, but you can't stand that person? Like,
yes.
I mean, maybe it's like us here at work, or
I can't say here. That would ruin it.
I think about church. If you've ever served, Brad, in church leadership, you've probably witnessed people within the church who believe the same things. They're going to be in heaven together one day, and they can't stand each other.
It's funny. That's right where my mind went to.
Church. Yeah.
Because people do things, and you're like, that's bad. And you're like, but I believe in a greater purpose and a greater God than this particular thing. So we'll keep moving forward.
You try to act in a Christian, loving, humble way.
Yeah. Not with acrimony.
Is exactly. Isn't that what you would expect of the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris camp? Like that there would be such a inner emotional disdain. I tell my kids this all the time, and I tell them this. I learned this when I became a parent about children, and by learning it in that role, I learned it about myself, which is always kind of interesting when you start looking at the psychology of humans because you're trying to get a message through one way or the other to your child. But that all of your emotions are valid. How anything makes you feel is how it makes you feel. You do not get to say, I am going to be happy about this and I am not mad about it anymore. You can say that out loud or to yourself frequently until you start to kind of buy into it, but you don't have the ability to just turn a dial on your heartstrings and make yourself feel a certain way. But you do have the ability to control how you react to how you feel things. And that's what I'm always telling my kids. Like, if you're in a situation where you are really frustrated with something that's going on, if you're struggling in a class, if your spelling words are really challenging you or whatever, and it's making you really frustrated and angry inside, that's an okay thing. That's an okay reaction. That's an understandable reaction that you just are frustrated that you can't get these spelling words right. But the question that you do have control over is, okay, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, maybe a little sad or disappointed about it. What am I going to do about it? That's where you get to have a little bit of say in what happens next. And I look at Joe Biden in this instance, and I think to myself, he has to be absolutely broken and hurt over what the Democrat Party did to him. There's no way that you could be in his position and be told, we don't want you anymore, and we're going to remove you. I mean, that's the Nancy Pelosi had to do the hard job there and convince him that he needed to step down before the alternative happened, and that would be so heartbreaking. Kamala Harris has done nothing in her presidential campaign to ease people's minds that, like, Joe Biden just really wanted to do this, and Joe Biden is great, but the party thought, you know what, we should move forward, and this was Joe's idea. That's never been even a blink of the moment that we've been watching in this history story that's being laid out in front of us. He's got to be absolutely devastated over this.
It's just amazing that everybody knows all of these things. And
of course they do.
And nobody will publicly say it. But the entire, I'm not going to say nation, I'm going to say world. The whole world knows that happened. And yet the people closest to it are like, no, I don't even know what you're talking about. Not only did it not happen, but I don't even know the context with which you're speaking.
Do you remember leading up to it, Nancy Pelosi's responses? Somebody was interviewing her, and Joe Biden was like, no, I'm in this to win it. I'm staying in. I'm not going anywhere. And like, what do you think he's going to do? Well, we're going to give him time to make the right decision. And she just kept saying that over and over and over. And he had been on record multiple times saying, I'm in it, I'm staying in, I'm not going anywhere. And she just kept saying, we're going to give him time to make the right decision. And that, now looking back on it, there are people that thought this at the time, but looking back on it, that was most definitely a threat. I'm going to give you time to make the right decision. It's like a mom telling a child.
Yeah, with their head turned to the side, looking out of the side, and we got one eyebrow up, like, I'm going to give you time to make the right decision. And the kid's like, I'm scared, Mom. That's not my personal experience.
Clearly.
That happened today. No, it didn't.
But the fact that we're still living in that alternate reality, and they're still pushing it. I mean, the Democrat presidential nominee is still saying, when pushed, Joe Biden is fine. Well, why did he exit the race? Because he's so fine. He's doing so well that he decided to exit the race. That doesn't make any sense, Kamala. Well, you know what else doesn't make any sense? Donald Trump. There's no logic to the answers to these questions, and yet they just keep getting repeated over and over and over.
I was thinking about this today. Are we going to connect with him?
Yes.
He
just messaged me.
Well, I want to talk about it. I'm going to put a pin in this, too. We've got the poly market, 6 swing states that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. And I want to get back to Kamala Harris, too, because this election, the stakes couldn't be higher, but it seems as though the message is pretty clear from voters. And the number one question has to be, which is what we're asking on a YouTube live chat poll today, is, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Let's ask our guests that. Steve Moore joins us once again, distinguished fellow in economics and at the Heritage Foundation. He's a Trump economic advisor as well. And you got to check out his new book out, The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again. Steve, we are very close to the possibility that this could come to fruition. We appreciate you being with us here today.
Well, good afternoon, Annie, and great to be with you. By the way, I was there at Madison Square Garden yesterday
really?
with the president, and it was amazing. It was an incredible, it was very inspiring, let's put it like that. And by the way, I've got to tell you that, from Trump Tower down Fifth Avenue all the way to Madison Square Garden, the crowds were it was like America just won World War II. I've never seen so many crowds in my life. And it was an amazing experience. Everybody from Elon Musk to the pro wrestler and it was just well done. And people are I've never seen so much excitement before in my life, especially for a politician.
Yeah. I'm thinking America probably is thinking they're about to stop World War III. That's what they're doing out on the streets, getting ready to elect Donald Trump. I don't hear Kamala Harris advocating. She's acknowledged the price of groceries is high, but she keeps talking to us about basically Donald Trump is a fascist, comparing him to Hitler and so on and so forth. I hear Donald Trump talking about prices that Americans can't afford right now and talking about the actual understanding of what it's like to live in America today. What do you think about the two messages of these camps?
Well, I think, first of all, it's pretty obvious Kamala is really playing bad 3 weeks. Remember, at first she was Mother Teresa. Remember, she could do no wrong. And I've never seen it. By the way, I'm walking down the 6th Avenue right now, so if you hear
we're good.
Noise in the background. That's why it is. But anyway, I was going to say that I think that Trump is on his game. He really is on his game right now. His speech was fantastic. It was inspiring. People are tired of the name calling and stuff. He just said, "Look, I'm the one to get it done because I've done it before." And if you like. What was he? He said, you just said it in one of his first lines is, "Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?"
Yes.
Which is exactly what Ronald Reagan said in 1980 when he ran against Jimmy Carter. And I think, I'm looking at the betting market. Just a week ago, Trump was at 52% of chance of winning. Now he's at 63%. So I think the momentum has shifted, and it's looking good right now. But I want to assure your listeners, this is not done. This is going to be a fierce fight to the finish. And people have to get out to vote early if they can, because, if you vote early, your chance of being voted, your chance of actually being counted is 100%. If you wait till Election Day, a lot of people end up not showing up.
Yep.
So And this is the election of our lifetime. It really is.
I completely agree. And there's still work to be done, and there's not much time left. Pretty soon we'll be done with all the commercials and everything. But the case, there's still an opportunity to make the case to your friends, to your families. Your book is The Trump Economic Miracle and the Plan to Unleash Prosperity Again. You talked about this last week, but this is a really good way to strip out all the noise and get down to the economics of the matter, which is what most people are worried about right now as a top issue. How quickly do you believe that on Election Day, if we find out that Donald Trump wins, if we find out quickly that he wins, how quickly will that understanding of his presidency being imminent, being inaugurated in January, will we see some economic relief as voters and Americans?
I think there will be. I think there'll be a boom if he wins. I really do, because I think we'll just take such corrective actions right at the beginning. Look, this is a great America. We've got the best businesses, the best innovators, the best, inventions. And all we need to do is just get the government the hell out of the way. That's all it takes. We don't need these politicians, overseeing everything our businesses do and regulating them and taxing them to death. So to answer your question is, I think it's going to give us about 3 to 6 months. And I think we'll have the economy really, really booming again, like it did when Trump. People forget. Remember, before COVID hit, the economy was. Remember that? It was absolutely booming.
Yes, I would say on the show when that was happening, and I'm an idiot for having said it. I feel like I summoned the pandemic. I'm like, what could possibly happen to screw up Donald Trump's?
That's the way I felt too.
Yeah. And then here we are.
Something's going to happen, and and who would have ever thought it would have been a pandemic? So so. That's really great. I love his idea about, now he's even talking about, let's maybe eliminate the income tax. I've worked on that for 30 years. Let's have a consumption tax, not an income tax. It would make our economy as strong as any economy in the world. And he's a big thinker, Donald Trump. Now, some of the stuff we're not going to be able to get done, but I just love the fact that and even on the tariffs, he's taking a lot of briefs from some of my friends, and I'm a free market guy, I'm a free trade guy. But if you use tariffs as a negotiating tool, to get other countries to do things that are in our interest, that makes sense. That makes sense to me, and I'm a free trade guy.
Well, we are so close to having a culmination of this long, long election. And Steve, you've been such a great guide and expert with us along the way. Thank you for your time today. We'll let you get back to it. We will talk to you again soon. Steve Moore, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, well, don't forget, by the way, that one of the most inspiring speakers, I forgot to say this, was Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. And he said something I've been saying. He said we could probably cut $1 or $2 trillion out of the budget.
Yes.
Just get rid of the inefficiency and the redundancy and the fraud and abuse. And so I love it. I'm excited, as you can tell, and I can't wait I just want it to be over.
Yeah. That is the most bipartisan thing that has been said on this show, Steve. Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You
as well. Bye-bye. Steve Moore, who is a very, very well-experienced economic expert, a distinguished fellow at Heritage Foundation, and a Donald Trump economic advisor. Wonderful to be able to have weekly conversations with him. His schedule is always so busy and packed, and he makes room for you guys, and I'm so grateful for that each and every time. We're going to speak with Congressman Mike Bost. When we come back, we spoke to Missouri's Secretary of State in the 12 o'clock hour, asked a lot of questions, got a lot of answers, and a lot of great advice from Jay Ashcroft in a couple of segments in the noon hour. So if you missed that and you're a Missouri voter, you got to check it out on the Annie Fry Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. I think Ryan's uploading that stuff right now. And then you can also go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and rewatch that conversation right there. You can also vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. And as Steve Moore mentioned, this is the question, the lead thing that Donald Trump said at his Madison Square Garden rally this weekend. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Yes or no? We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Comfort Service. Find them online at aircomfortservice.com. I love these people so much because they're good people. And I know that when the HVAC emergency occurs in your home and you're like, God dang it, this is never a good day. I've been there with the air conditioner. I've been there with the furnace. We had to replace our water heater. All of those times, we hired Air Comfort Service to come out to our house, and they were so great because they gave us honest answers. They gave us options as well, and I trusted them to give us the truth and to do the work that we hired them to do expertly, and they did, and we're in our comfort zone all the time. I'm very grateful for Air Comfort Service as a customer of theirs, and I encourage you to support them in your time of need to get back into your comfort zone because they support us. 314-513-0091 for your residential or commercial needs when it comes to heating, air conditioning, and insulation. You can reach out to Air Comfort Service, and they will guide you through your situation. 314-513-0091. Call my friends at aircomfortservice.com.
Hey, St. Louis, are you in search of top-notch cybersecurity solutions? Look no further. ThrottleNet is here to help. Ransomware attacks are on the rise, putting businesses like yours at risk. Don't let cyber criminals jeopardize your hard-earned success. ThrottleNet provides comprehensive cybersecurity services tailored specifically to your unique needs. Our award-winning customer service provides 24/7 protection to keep your data safe and secure. Take charge of your digital security today. Protect your business, protect your future. ThrottleNet.com, your reliable partner in cybersecurity.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Republican Adam Schnelting is a husband, father, and a soldier. As an Army combat engineer, Schnelting is trained to fight for us. He's trained to solve problems. As state representative, Adam fought to keep men out of our daughters' bathrooms and sports. He voted to cut our taxes and fully fund our schools. He led the charge in Missouri to secure our border and address the fentanyl crisis. He even earned the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Adam Schnelting for State Senate.
I'm Adam Schnelting, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schnelting for Missouri, Mike Summer, Treasurer.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th. Register now at DelHelpMeNow.com. That's DelHelpMeNow.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. DelHelpMeNow.com. Code 2024.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Hey guys, Ethan Hannaford here, producer for The Mark Reardon Show. On Monday, Mike Elam will be guest hosting in place of Mr. Reardon himself. He will be having on Missouri Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe at 425.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
We've been turning into strangers.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I'm not ready to give up on us yet. One last hurrah, it might just do the trick.
I'm thrilled to be back in the city I love, and thousands of proud, hard-working American patriots. You're with me. We're all together. We've always been together. And I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
That is former President Donald Trump, 45, potentially trying to be 47 come next week when Election Day gets here. And he's asking you, it is the question that everybody needs to consider, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? On the Annie Fry YouTube channel, go join us there and say hi in the chat. But that's the YouTube live chat poll question for today. And it's also the first question that I'm going to ask Congressman Mike Bost, who joins us once again, the United States Congressman from Illinois' 12th District. He's also the chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. Congressman, thank you for being with us today. Welcome back to the show.
Annie, thanks for having me on. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you as well, Congressman. When you're talking to constituents in this election cycle, what you understand about what people in Southern Illinois are experiencing in the Biden-Harris America, are people better off now than they were 4 years ago?
Let me see. We've got an open border that we're running fentanyl across, human trafficking across. Our dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. We have wars around the world. Yeah, no.
No, not at all. Tell me, give me a little insight here. As somebody who works in Washington, D.C., I don't know how well you know either Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. But the Democrats decided that Joe Biden was not going to be able to pull off a victory in this November, and they replaced him with Kamala Harris. How do you feel like your colleagues are reacting now to that decision that they made this summer?
Well, I'm going to tell you the concern that we have is if he's not good enough to run for president, what in the world is he doing the job for? Where are we at? What's really going on? And if he can't do it, who is doing it? Now, that was the concerns early on whenever they made the switch. Now we're just seeing, that she's nothing more than the same, out of touch, I think, with the American people. And her campaign is, we don't like Donald Trump. That is exactly her campaign.
Yeah. Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. I enjoy the meme. I think there's a Babylon Bee article that says that Donald Trump, meant to act like Hitler in his first term, but he forgot to, so he seeks a second term. Some of the words and the verbiage that are being thrown at Donald Trump, somebody who America has lived through 4 years of prosperity with him when he was the president. We have a record. Kamala Harris's message it's a pretty charged rhetoric that's out there right now against Donald Trump.
And her other people that are speaking for her, Hillary Clinton made a comment about this Madison Square Garden thing yesterday, a week or so, or a few days before it, that, that this represents when Nazis were at Madison Square Garden. Well, you know what? At that group, you had every race, every gender, you had people waving Jewish flags. And I'd have to say that I heard earlier on another broadcast that if you're waving a Jewish flag, it's probably not Nazis. I'm just guessing.
By definition, you would think so. Do you think that Kamala Harris would be more the same as Joe Biden? Because I kind of think there has potentially been an opportunity missed on the Republicans' part to show how effective this version of governing, which you pointed out already, if Joe Biden's not capable of doing the job, who is doing the job? It sure seems like whoever is doing the job would still be doing it if Kamala Harris were the president, and that they could become more effective should she become the president of the United States.
Well, let me tell you that there should be an argument or somewhere during this time of her softball interviews that she's been given for the most part, where she would answer that question, what would she do different? And when the question was asked, she basically said nothing. And so if that's the case, then I just don't think the majority of the people or have their head in the sand and go, oh, yeah, well, we were better off. All right, we are better off today than we were 4 years ago. And we're just not.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it is, believe me, I'm traveling my district, and the people that I'm talking to, that's a fact on the voters in that district. But I'm going to tell you, I've went out because of the VA committee stuff and also helping others around this nation as we're trying to gain more seats in the House. I've been to Colorado. I've been to California. I was in Palm Springs for a candidate there. I was in Tucson, Arizona, and I've been in Sunnyside, Washington State on the east side of Mount Rainier. And what we're seeing is everything's trending in the Republican way, even in areas where it wouldn't normally do that. And I think we're headed in the right direction as far as Trump's race and as far as the House and the Senate as well.
Let's talk about that specifically because, Donald Trump's numbers look good, but we've talked about the, I'm going to whisper it, red wave before, and it didn't happen, and we're not going to use those words again this year. We got to wait and see how the results come in. But should Donald Trump win next Tuesday, he needs a Republican Congress in order to get everything back on track immediately. How confident are you in what we're hearing from things like Elon Musk talk about cutting the budget, bringing some of this money that's being wasted in Washington, D.C., and allowing the American people who are earning it to keep it and put it to good use? Can this new version of the Republican Party rein in spending?
Yes, and here's why. Let me tell you some things that are out there being talked about. Elon Musk coming through identifying, and then if you take and have the administration along with the Congress, then you cut away the rhetoric whenever you reduce money for an agency, how you're not going to reduce services, but you're going to actually be more wise with the money that you're spending. Because remember, the main goal of bureaucracy is create more bureaucracy.
Yes.
So somehow you've got to break that up. Let me tell you the idea that's out there that actually I heard last week about this time, Speaker Johnson talking about, and I'd heard this before, but I didn't know whether we were seriously thinking about it. So how do you drain the swamp when the swamp creatures are there in the swamp feeding off each other? You remove them from the swamp. Mm-hmm. How do you do that? You move the agencies away from Washington, D.C., and put them out in this United States.
Ooh.
Put the Department of Transportation out in let's say, Kansas. How about the VA somewhere here in the Midwest? How about, and the list goes on and on and on with all of our government agencies. You remove them from the swamp creatures, and guess what happens? Either they follow to go do their job in other places where they understand what the rest of the American people are dealing with. Otherwise, you constantly have to fight the swamp out there to try to stop the deep state and the overburdensome bureaucracy if you're going to make government wiser and spend less. So that's some of the great ideas that I've heard out there. Remember, the term swamp didn't come from just the Trump era. Remember, that term was used by Ronald Reagan, of all people. And when he said, whenever he wanted to drain the swamp, his statement was, after being there for a while, it's hard to drain the swamp when you're up to your tail in alligators.
That's so Ronald Reagan. Congressman Mike Bost with us right now, Illinois' 12th District Representative in the United States Congress. You're from Southern Illinois. You understand Southern Illinois. When people talk about Illinois, they don't usually think of the southern part of Illinois. Compare to me what it's like after you've served a few terms there in Washington, D.C. Like, what does the swamp try to do to you? What does D.C. try to do to you? Once you leave your roots for periods of time, you go to Washington, D.C., and it gets you.
Well, they're going to try to, and they do it. They try to convince you, they haven't convinced me of this, that, their way of thinking is above you. And so, therefore, even though it's a representative form of government, you've got to comply with what their idea is in D.C. because we've always done it that way. And so, therefore, any time, whether it's in business or whether it's in an organization, quite often when you try to present new ideas and cure problems, oh, no, we've always done it this way. And it's like whenever we're dealing with the VA, and I had to explain this the other day, we've got problems with VA, with amazing the issues that we have problems with, everything from giving themselves bonuses at the administrative level that we're supposed to go to docs and nurses to try to retain them. And so when we caught them at this, we brought the secretary before us, and he was trying to defend his people. And I explained to the secretary, I said, you need to understand that, Mr. Secretary, the people that are working for you in that agency, they know that I'm trying desperately to cure problems, but their attitude is, I'm going to get unelected one of these days, and then they'll just deal with somebody else, but they'll still be there. And, Mr. Secretary, you need to know I've seen 5 of you in the 10 years I've been there. So this is the type of stuff that they try to the inner dwellings of these agencies is what we talk about, not politically, it's just fact, what the deep state is. And then they'll try to influence that on those members that are elected. The way you keep it from happening is you make sure that you keep in touch with your district.
Yes. Yeah, stay connected to the people who you serve. Exactly right. Congressman Bost with us right now. I want to wrap up with asking you said you've been campaigning across the country. What is the majority right now of Republicans in the House? It seems like it's fluctuated so much in the last year or so. 4?
Yeah, we have a majority because we've actually went through the reason it fluctuates is if somebody quits or somebody dies or whatever, then you have to wait on a special election. The numbers back up. We are fully loaded at 435, and we have a 4-seat majority as far as the Republicans are concerned.
What is realistic expectation right now? How are you feeling about Republicans' ability to A, maintain the majority, certainly, but B, expand it?
Well, we're trying to expand it, and I think we're going to see that from around the nation. And let me tell you, the 2 states that the Democrats are focusing on that so we have to defend is they believe those states that are naturally is California and New York. We're showing that we're going to hold those pretty well. We got a couple other seats that might be a question, but then so the existing members that look like they're close, they're rising here at the end, and then also the Democrats, though, that we've targeted, we believe we'll pick up. I think we'll probably get 10, 12 more, if not more than that, and increase our majority. The Senate will go Republican. The question is, will it be a one vote majority or a 3 to 4 vote majority, depending on how these races fall? And then the one of the things that's really wild about to put it in perspective, think about this. Whenever I first came in, I understand it was during Speaker Boehner's last few years, we had instead of a 222, we had 242 Republicans. That is a large majority.
Yes.
I don't think we'll get there, but we will increase our majority.
Man.
And what that does is it allows you to have those people that might have a different opinion that sometimes are just out there to get, you and I have talked about this, to get their social media likes and everything like that. It allows them to do what they want to do, and when the rest of us can govern.
I love it. Congressman Bost, before we let you go, do you think that the Republican Party has an understanding congressionally about what needs to be done should you have the ability to have Congress and the White House? Quick to govern?
I think we do because we understand what the issues are. We're not worried about chasing woke. We're worried about making a better America.
Yeah. All right. Well, Congressman Bost, we appreciate you so much. Look forward to seeing.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes, we'll do it again soon. Hopefully, maybe right after the election with some very positive results to discuss.
Just remember, everybody get out and vote.
Vote, vote, vote. Thank you so much. Congressman Bost, the representative from Illinois' 12th district here across the river in southern Illinois. Brad's representative out in the O'Fallon area. Make sure you go out and support him. I appreciate him so much. He's a real dude, and he's been very kind to us in the show, and I've done many events with him, and he is a genuine person. I'd love to be able to talk to him. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to discuss the poly market betting odds on 6 of the swing states. We're going to discuss a few polls here that Ryan wants to highlight when we return. We're also going to have Wiggins America, and I think maybe we'll squeeze Wiggins America in the 2 o'clock hour and kind of shake it out a little bit. No more would you like to take a survey, right? All right, let's take a quick break. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Yes or no? We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Then maybe both of us could listen and get our pride out of the way. 'Cause I'm still the guy that used to make you laugh. What would it take for
Stewart's American Mortgage and the bagel loan, man, this is a phone call that you need to be making right now. If you've gotten a mortgage in like the last 2 years or so, you're missing out on keeping your money. That's kind of basically the way it is. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. It's called the bagel loan. The bagel loan can only be found at Stewart's American Mortgage. Here's what the bagel loan is. You go to get your new mortgage. You go to refinance your mortgage. And when you qualify to use the bagel loan that is at Stewart's American Mortgage, you get that mortgage acquired with $0 spent in closing costs. The money isn't rolled into the loan. You don't have to just, not pay now, pay later, or pay over the course of time and, all that. No, the money isn't there. You don't have to pay it. I've refied twice with Stewie when rates were coming down dramatically years ago. I'm glad I did. I've got a great rate now. But he saved me so much money in interest that I would be paying over the course of years because I have a great rate right now. So take my word for it. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. We are thrilled to announce that the Mid-America Carpenters Union is offering up to $10,000 cash to close to all McKelvey homebuyers. Use these dollars for closing costs, upgrades, or buy down your interest rate. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to own a beautifully crafted home with McKelvey legendary quality. Act fast. This offer is first come, first serve. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-90000.
All righty, we're getting ready to come into winter here where we're going to be using our furnaces. A lot of you are getting prices now, or you're getting your furnaces checked and you're being told that you have an issue with your furnace and you need a new furnace. So if that is the case and you want a very simple common sense approach to picking a furnace, if that's the case, I'd appreciate you calling and giving me a chance to meet with you and discuss your options. So call me. It's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. Just one number. Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or on the web is bartinman.com. Now there's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless. Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-age children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Love seeing the comments on this, too. Yes or no are your options, but you can always leave a comment by going to the Andy Fry YouTube page and voting there and, of course, subscribing. 147. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Mark Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voter's guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Mark Cox 2024 voter guide.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Am I dreaming? Am I wishing? With just a little bit of both. 'Cause I run right back from Carolina, and I run right back from New Orleans. 'Cause I can't forget the times I held you and all those songs you sang with me. All those songs you sang with me.
I love this song. It's a cleanse. Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Next week at this time, we'll be saying Election Day is tomorrow.
Wow.
Yay! Hooray!
Just think, next week at this time on Wednesday, we'll be saying Election Day was yesterday.
Are we going to be happy or sad?
On Thursday, we'll be saying it was 2 days ago.
You can stop now. 1 hour ago, I started talking about this, and then Steve Moore came on the show at 12 o'clock, 1:12 or so. You should go back and listen to him talking about being at the Madison Square Garden rally. What a rally that was. Did you see the visuals from that?
Oh, yeah.
Did you take in any of it?
Not really. I more watched the coverage of it because I like seeing, same with the Rogan thing, how the media covers it is more of a sport to me than anything.
One of the things Steve Moore said in that interview at about 1:15, he said that from all down, what did he say, 25th Avenue? Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
Fifth Avenue, I think it was like 25 blocks or something, I don't know. He said the whole way down is just covered with people. He goes, you would have thought we won World War II. And I immediately thought, or prevented World War III.
Hey.
That's kind of where we are in this moment. Like, the stakes are so incredibly high. And people are showing out in New York City. Just for the thought of it, if Kamala Harris was going to, could she fill Madison Square Garden?
No. Well, if they paid them.
Well, she filled wherever they were with Kamala Harris, with Beyonce.
That was with Beyonce.
Correct. Well, but Trump had Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan's
that's
not.
the same.
I don't think that. Well, let me put it this way: Hulk Hogan is such a lane. It's so specific.
I'm so in that lane.
Hulk
too.
Hogan is doing Hulk Hogan things, and there are some people who are like, "Oh my god, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen."
Yeah, let me drink your beer.
And I'm like, "Are you the one that says brother?" I was there when Hulk Hogan was Hulk Hogan, but I was a little girl, and when I was a little girl, I did not care what Hulk Hogan was doing. I'm interested in watching him do his thing up there on behalf of saving the country, but I'm the one who was like, Dr. Phil, I'm pulling up a chair for that one. Okay, it is what it is. The Poly Market latest swing state odds, percent chance of winning. Nevada, Trump 65%. Michigan, Trump 53%. Wisconsin, Trump 59%. Pennsylvania, Trump 61%. Georgia, Trump 73%. Arizona, Trump 75%. Where's North Carolina in this?
That's a good question.
Not listed. But I'm watching Georgia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, East Coast states. Georgia and Pennsylvania have both indicated that don't be looking for results from these states on election night. And I'm like, you stink. But if the election results were strong enough, we could potentially know that one way or the other. I mean, I feel like if the way it went in 2020 is Trump was leading. Oh, pause. See you tomorrow. Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Make of that what you will. If Kamala Harris is leading, I don't know that they wouldn't call it for Harris that night. Because most of the ones that take longer to get in are the more urban, centralized areas where they have a lot of votes that are coming in, and generally speaking, you think those lean more left.
I remember 2020 watching, here's a weird thing, watching the Chinese stock market all night.
Yeah.
Because the Chinese stock market was reacting to live election results, and it was tanking throughout the early evening. And then all of a sudden, at about 11 p.m., it just switched. And it was like, oh, wait a minute. Things are going to be okay. We're going to get Biden in there now. The Chinese stock market. What does that tell you about who they were hoping would win?
I feel good about the election. I don't like to feel good about it.
You know, you were talking about Georgia saying that they weren't going to have the election things, and I was listening to what Raffensperger was saying there, and he was talking about the overseas votes, and he's like, we don't know. A lot of that stuff won't come in until...
Wouldn't those lean red?
You would think so, because that's a lot of military. But he's like, that
There'd be a lot
won't
of
come
bureaucracy.
that won't come in until Friday. But then I saw other people saying, I'm not really sure what he's talking about, because that's not going to be like a huge percentage of this vote.
Well, when you're trying to find 11,000 votes.
Well,
the phrase "too big to rig" is a good one, and I like you. I'm feeling good, optimistic going into this election.
And then I want to smack myself
and
in
then
the
I
face and say,
myself
snap out of it. Here, I'll just smack you. Come here.
Okay, fine. It's just a Monday. Ouch, my face. You slapped me. It's theater of the mind. She didn't really do it.
I did too.
Okay.
All right, come here. I missed.
But I keep thinking, I mean, going into this, you feel optimistic if you're on the right. But you also think back, whether you're a conspiracy theorist about the 2020 election or not, think back to the length with which not the left, the establishment has been willing to throw out every norm that they've ever had to stop this guy. It makes me nervous, not just with the election, but even if he wins, what are they going to do to the country just to sabotage him? That worries me.
Too big to rig.
That's what you hope for, at least for November 5th.
If there's a mandate, which is what needs to happen in order for the country to, if Donald Trump wins and there's no mandate, we will have 4 years of at least the other guy didn't win, like what Democrats have been saying about Biden for the last 4 years. If there's a mandate, I mean, there's so much enthusiasm right now for Donald Trump in demographics that aren't usually the ones that you go to. And if Donald Trump is able to deliver on the hopes that people are investing in Donald Trump when they vote for him. I mean, how many times have you seen on social media people be like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I just voted for Donald Trump. People are like, 2016 Hillary Clinton, 2020 Joe Biden, 2024 Donald Trump. What? Lord have mercy on this great country. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent.
When Greg Hammonds at GregHammonds.com talks to people about health insurance, they tell him, number one, my premiums are too much. Number two, 2, my deductible is so high I never meet it. And number 3, my doctor doesn't accept my plan anymore. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA market. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible. And they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance and available all year long, so you can enroll today. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Gearing up for another busy week on the campaign trail. I'm John Saucier, Fox News. Former President Trump returning to Georgia, looking to corral the critical 16 Electoral College votes up for grabs next Tuesday there. Fox's Bill Malugin reports from Atlanta.
Former President Donald Trump will have 2 campaign events in Georgia today. That includes a rally here in Atlanta tonight. Trump likes to say he imagines he's running as if he's 1 point behind. He says he's willing to go anywhere and everywhere to get his message out to the voters. And that mentality was on full display in Madison Square Garden last night.
These are the people who are doing such harm to our country with their open border policies, record-setting inflation, Green New Scam, and everything else that they're doing.
And Trump spoke in front of a totally packed house at MSG last night, but he also had a very long lineup of speakers who came before him. That included RFK Jr., Dana White, Melania Trump, Hulk Hogan, and Elon Musk.
Well, Vice President Kamala Harris says last night's Trump rally at Madison Square Garden is more of the same. Here's Fox's Jared Halpert at the White House.
The vice president says Sunday's rally at Madison Square Garden that included speakers who made racist and sexist remarks is part of her closing message in the campaign's final week.
Donald Trump spends full time trying to have Americans point their finger at each other, fans the fuel of hate and division, and that's why people are exhausted with him.
Harris is traveling around Michigan today. She'll hold a rally tomorrow night at the Ellipse near the White House, the same place former President Trump rallied supporters on January 6th, 2021. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Investigators from various federal agencies launching an interagency operation this morning at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. That's the lockup where Sean Diddy Combs is being held right now, facing increasing scrutiny over conditions and rampant violence. Prison officials not revealing any specifics about today's operation. America's listening to Fox News.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Nothing about fall over the next couple of days. 78 for the high this afternoon. Partly sunny skies. Windy. Tonight, lots of clouds. Windy. Very warm overnight. 67. On Tuesday, sunny. Very warm. 84 for the high on Tuesday. The record's 86. So we're going to be close to that. Wednesday, sunny and warm. 82. But much cooler air in here for Halloween. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Retirement Advisory Group, you find them online at retirementkey.com. Planning your retirement, you've been doing that for a long time, but now that you are right there on the doorstep of retirement, you're probably thinking, good grief, do I have to do anything special right now? Well, that's a good thought to have, but the people who have the answers, Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, they are a phone call away at the Retirement Advisory Group. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. When you connect with the Retirement Advisory Group at that phone number, if you go online to retirementkey.com, you're going to get plugged in to have your own sit-down conversation, your own discussion about what you've saved so far, what your goals are, what does retirement look like to you in your mind, and how do you make that come to fruition? Then they tell you how to get there. That gives you peace of mind and the retirement of your dreams. 314-993-9494. Schedule your appointment today. retirementkey.com.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office.
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
Count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
97.1 FM Talk is your home for Election Night 2024. On air and online, we're covering the races that matter most to you with real-time results and expert commentary. Democracy 2024.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We are excited to be 8 days away from the election. It is almost here. And a reminder, just to kind of a palate cleanser, 58 days till Christmas. Can you believe that? 58 days.
You know what? It actually seems like it should be a little sooner now. No, we're not past Halloween yet. Okay, on Friday, I'll say, gosh, I can't believe Christmas isn't sooner.
So in your mind, like for me, Christmas is always... I always have an idea of how far Christmas is away, even if it's January 10th. I know that it's a long way away. To me, like the ending of Halloween, right after that, it's just holidays. It's the holiday season.
Yeah.
And whoop-de-doo.
I'm already seeing signs. Not the store stuff is like talked to death. Everybody knows they're going to bring stuff out in August. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
No, I'm not. I'm like, hey,
I know.
That makes me smile.
I'm actually not opposed to it anymore either. I'm like, hey, something that's kind of happy.
I don't walk through my life going like, how dare you about Christmas trees ever.
Yeah. But I do, when I start seeing signs for Christmas events coming up, that's when I'm like, it's actually really close.
I
and I'm
see some of that
seeing
stuff on Facebook.
holiday, they're calling holiday lights, Christmas lights, decoration display things that they're doing around at least the Metro East that I'm like, they're putting up signs because it's soon.
Mm-hmm.
That means it's here.
I have my reservations for the Polar Express.
Do you?
Look at you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going on the media day. So I'm taking my kids. So it's
Okay.
early on, and
Okay.
I will share with everybody the Union State. That is such a cool event. If you have, it's pricey. I understand that it's pricey, but if you have train lovers or Polar Express lovers, they do it really, really well. And Union Station is such a beautiful place to be at Christmas time.
I took my 6-year-old last year, 7 now. And he's just old enough that he's like really into starting to get into the mechanics of things. Like he's into that. And much more than I am. And he's like, you're telling me this train goes to the North Pole? We're going to see the North Pole? I'm like,
buckle up.
Yeah, dude, we're going to see it.
When you get to the North Pole and the big guy's there.
Well, we were told that we might see him. And I can tell you one thing. On our train, we saw him. Yeah. So we get going on this train from Union Station. And my 6-year-old, again, like 4 or 5, I think we went back when he was a little younger too. He was like, oh, this is amazing. But he didn't really remember it. This year, he was like, okay, I'm taking all this in because he wants to study how this happens. How do we get there? Like through a portal? Like, what do we do? We got to move pretty quick. It's pretty far. I know that. I've seen the globe. So we start moving, and he was like really, oh gosh, he was just so excited. We start moving, and he goes, is this as fast as this train is going to go? Because it doesn't go that fast, And I'm like, yeah, I think so. And he's like, this is going to take a long time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So it was less time than he was expecting.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's a magic train.
Yeah, exactly.
And, time is nothing.
Time doesn't matter at all when you got magic.
We've gone several times. We went the first year that it was at Union Station because we used to. I was with 97.1 when we were over at the Powerhouse, which is at Union Station. And when that started materializing, I was like, my kid, Thomas the Train, everything. Charlie was a Thomas the Train kid. And when I found out that was happening, I was like, we have to do this. And it was just absolutely magical. It was so worth the opportunity to go do it. And since then, it has just grown so much in the things that they add to it and the things that they do. Highly recommend it. And I'm like kind of starting to get in the Christmas spirit. I have this, I don't know if you do this, but if I have like a speaking engagement that's maybe a little bit bigger than some of the other ones that I do, when I MC the Night of Rock Stars, it's like a moment in time. As soon as I have it on my calendar, and I'll put that on my calendar in like April. Actually, probably even maybe before then. Sometimes for things like that, they know the date the next year when I'm doing the event this year, and they're like, can you come back if they ask me back? And so I just kind of I'll have something like that on my calendar, and everything exists before or after that date. The Blue Angels, when I flew with the Blue Angels, everything was before or after that first week of June when I was going to fly. The election has been that event for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird to me to think that the election's going to be here. It's like time has taken so long, but at the same time gone really fast. And then I said to Brad before the show starts, it's going to be over and we're going to be on the other side of this. Like right now, when you're anticipating Christmas and you're trying to do all the things, you're trying to get all the stuff done, and you're like, gosh, I don't know if I'm going to have time. And then it's January 4th. And you're like, whoa. Where did that go? We're going to be in that moment, and we're going to be like, hey, remember when Annie was saying it's going to be over before you know it? Like, when did December happen? And then it's going to be Christmas. Like, I remember the 2020 election when we had the presidential election, everything was so focused on that election. The election was drawn out all the way into the week before Christmas because there were questions about what the Electoral College was going to do. Go 4 years before that, same thing. When Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump in the 2016 election, we had to watch the doofuses from Hollywood like Robert De Niro be like, I implore you electors, do the right thing. This party that wants to talk about threats to democracy is really, really fickle about what it means to be a threat to democracy. They've never understood it. They don't get Donald Trump. Donald Trump terrifies them. And it's amazing that you get this far into the election cycle, after election cycle after election cycle, and people, for whatever reason, still don't understand Donald Trump. And the weirdest part about all of this is, you know who understands Donald Trump right now? This guy, Chris Cuomo, now understands Donald Trump in a way that I think people aren't ready to hear. This is Chris Cuomo from this weekend.
You got to stop thinking that the people who support Trump are like Trump, that they speak like Trump, that they act like Trump. They don't. They want to hire Trump to do a dirty job. They want him to be a virus to the political corpus. They want him to disrupt, to destroy, to demean those that they disrespect and dislike, the system that they distrust and despise. They want someone to do what they believe has been done to them and that they cannot do themselves. That's why they don't care that he exhibits terrible behavior, because they're putting him into a terrible place. If you're sending somebody into the jungle, do you really care if they're a savage? You see what I'm saying? And you have to understand it that way. You may not agree, you may not accept, you may not like, but that's what it is.
I don't know what happened to Chris Cuomo other than he got ejected from CNN and now is talking in a level of sense. I've never heard anyone say that. I've never heard anyone articulate that the reason why people love Donald Trump is because they're sending him to do a dirty job. We've talked around it. We talk about draining the swamp. We talk about the fact that we don't need Donald Trump to raise our children, or we just need him to be able to get the job done. We want a businessman to be able to go in there. The thought of what we are sending Donald Trump to do, the thing that we're sending him in to fix, from what we understand, is pretty deplorable. But we don't even know the half of it. We don't know how these things get done. We had Congressman Bost on in the 1 o'clock hour, and he was saying to us that he was going, I think he was talking to somebody who is in the bureaucratic apparatus that is D.C., and I think it was in his representation as the chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee. And they were like, this isn't how this works. I've dealt with 5 of you in the last 10 years. You think you're going to come in here and tell me that we're going to do it this way, this way, this way? You're going to be gone, and I'm still going to be here, and we're not going to do it that way. Folks, that's a swamp. And having somebody who's willing to go in there and for whatever reason is insulated from the swamp. Why is Donald Trump insulated from the swamp? Well, I would say it's because he is the bastion of hope for Americans everywhere to be able to look at what he has been able to do in this country, the success he's been able to have, and he has been celebrated for it. Until he became a Republican, he was idolized for it. He was lauded for it. People looked to him to be included, around him, surrounded, photographed with him, videoed with him. They wanted to be connected to him because there was something about Donald Trump that rubbed off on other people that other people wanted access to. And then you kind of dig back into, Tyrus's interview was a great example of this, talking about the different things that Donald Trump has done over time. And people have come out of the woodwork to talk about these stories. Donald Trump silently helps people all the time in ways that you and I can only dream about being helped when our stack is down and we need to have a miracle. Donald Trump and his organization shows up and quietly delivers that miracle. You go back to what General Kellogg said on this show, I think last week. He said that during COVID, he was in the Oval Office with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump said, I just want everybody to be okay. And Kellogg says, get down there and tell them right now. And he says, I can't, it'd show weakness. Just because you can't see the overt generosity and kindness of Donald Trump We don't need his kindness and generosity to be front and center like some sort of payload to give to the little plebes across the country. Like, I just want a nice man to be my president. That's not what you want. You want somebody who's going to go in and pull the plug and drain the swamp and not give two craps about doing it because he's going to upset some kind of bureaucracy. Who can do that better than a one-term president who's been there, knows where the bodies are buried, has learned from all his mistakes? He talks about his mistakes. He said this to Joe Rogan on the interview. At the beginning of the show, I talked about all the things that happened this weekend. I got through 35 minutes of that interview and have 2.5 hours to go. But he said one of the mistakes that he made as the president was he appointed people who didn't have his best interests at heart. He made bad decisions appointing people. He's learned. And he's a smart, wise man who understands that the number one way to improve yourself is to be able to square in very, very clearly and in focus on mistakes that you've made so you do not repeat them. Conversely, you have Kamala Harris going show to show to show to show. She can't, A, think of a weakness, and B, come up with anything that she would do differently than Joe Biden. That's because she doesn't think for herself. She isn't her own person. If you elect her, you are expanding the reach of the bureaucracy in the swamp in the United States, probably more than it's ever been expanded before. How's a fourth term of Barack Obama sound to you? Well, watching Donald Trump continue to persevere through everything in the kitchen sink that they have thrown at him, you want to talk about a redemption story. There is a redemption story that could happen in a week, and you're thinking I'm talking about Donald Trump? No, I'm talking about the United States of America. If Donald Trump wins, it's an American win. And we're so close to being able to have that. But you have to vote. You cannot get complacent. You got to come up with, between now and next week, you got to come up with 10 people you got to get out to the polls to vote. If you're in Missouri, it's going red. If you're in Illinois, it's going blue. But there are congressional seats that are up for grabs that we have to ensure we support Donald Trump with when he gets elected in a week. Our YouTube live chat poll for today is, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Brad?
No. No.
It's so expensive to be an American today.
Yes, and I've said this multiple times. I got a job that was a significant pay increase over what I was doing before I came into this job, and my standard of living hasn't gone up. As a matter of fact, my standard of living, I've had to cut back on things. So, no, I'm not in a better place now than I was, even though I have a better job than I did then.
The number one thing you go to is the economy.
The economy, number one thing. It hurts. I've got a truck. I can't afford to buy a new vehicle. New vehicle prices are through the roof because of inflation. My truck doesn't get great gas mileage because it's a truck, but I'm also not able to buy a new one because that's terribly high in price. So fuel prices are extremely high, and I don't want to hear, national averages are below $3 a gallon. It's $3.59 where I live. That's higher than the national average, and that's because I live in a state that has been had unfettered Democrat control. We've got a gas tax that automatically increases every year. So don't feed me this nonsense about, it's getting better. It's still more expensive than it was when Trump was president. When we buy groceries, my wife was talking about this, and I don't remember the exact number, but it's almost $400 every 2 weeks for groceries for two people. That's insane.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. Are you, Ryan, better off than you were 4 years ago?
No, because of January 6th.
I hate you. It hurts my heart. It makes me cry like Adam Kinzinger told me to do.
This is a tough question for me because it's odd. In 2021, we started investing our money, what looks now to be wisely, in real estate. So because the economy has been bad and people have run to hard assets, we've actually made money because people have overprinted the dollar. Like it's so backwards and stupid, but we got ahead of it. So the problem is that our standard of living, though, this is to your point, Brad, our standard of living should have shot up with the amount of investments that we've made. It hasn't. It's stayed relatively stable because I know everybody else's has gone down. Ours has stayed stable because we've made good investments. So this is a hard question because all of the economic indicators are so bad and backwards from what they should be, but we kind of got ahead of it. So I'm still going to say, no, it's not better because of the way things have played out.
Were you going to say something?
Well, I was going to say he's pointing out here that he was able to invest in hard assets, and they have actually made money off of that because of how bad this.
Have you made money off of it yet, though?
We've made. We have some cash flow, but because interest rates are so high, there's so many facets to this.
Kind of sucks
I mean,
it up.
you might be able to acquire property and investments in that way, but if you're not selling at those higher prices, if you're not flipping them, then you're not really making money yet. And if prices go back down, then that might not end up materializing. If you're renting, then that might be something that's different too. But like the standard of living is the thing that so many people are going, we can't do this. We just can't do this. And this is what it comes down to. Man, if you haven't subscribed to the Annie Fry YouTube channel yet, if you're interested, if you listen to the show for a lot, maybe you're not interested in watching the live broadcast of the show here on the YouTube channel, but I am going to tell you that at the very end of the show, we are going to premiere quick, I think it's like a 6-minute video maybe, of our shopping experience at Johnnie Brock's from last week. So we went Halloween costume shopping. And because we hit 10,000 subscribers a couple weeks ago, we committed to wearing costumes on the show in the 2 o'clock hour of the Halloween show, which will be this Thursday. And the only way that doesn't happen is if there's something that I cannot report the news because something crazy ends up happening that day. But we picked out costumes for each other. We don't tell you in the video which costume we picked out. We kind of want your feedback on which one you'd like to see us wear. So if you subscribe to the Annie Fry YouTube channel right now, you go to Annie Fry, F-R-U-Y, on YouTube, you'll see that we pop up. At 3 o'clock will be the premiere. We're gonna all watch this basically together. It's gonna be released, and we're gonna watch it. There'll be a live chat that goes along with it. Please go check it out. See everything Johnnie Brock's has to offer. But man, we found some amazing costumes. And essentially, when I was putting the video together, I realized that basically what this show is running around trying to keep Ryan from being a clown all the time. The whole video is basically trying to rein Ryan in.
Is it?
Yeah, I didn't feel like it at the time.
No, I didn't either.
But the video, like, there are several times where you took my camera and like went elsewhere, and I'm like, what are you doing?
I remember that.
I was editing it last night at like 1:30 at night, and there were multiple times where I was belly laughing, and Jared was laying next to me, and I think he was like, good grief. He's probably super mad at you.
That's fair.
I didn't have headphones on, so he was listening to it laying in bed while I was editing it. And I found it very funny. Johnnie Brock's was great to let us come and check out their stuff. So if you're looking for a costume to go to Johnnie Brock's Dungeon in St. Louis, man, there's no better place. They have everything. There's nowhere you can go in this area and get a better opportunity if you haven't got your costume yet than Johnnie Brock's.
Yeah. If you're like, there's no way they have medieval swords.
False.
That's not true.
I have the whole wall of like accessories and everything.
I want to dress up just as Cheese. Do they have that? Oh, no, there's no way they have that. Wait a minute. They do. You can dress up just as Cheese.
Don't tip it off.
Do you want to dress up as Chip the bartender? Absolutely, yes, you can. And you can have the cuffs with no sleeves.
And you can see, there's one costume that you guys picked out. We narrowed them down so you can see at the end the ones that are narrowed down. There's one costume that you guys picked out for me that if that's the one that gets selected, this might be the end of my career.
Oh, I know which one.
I don't.
And I'm rooting for that one.
I don't know why. It's weird.
No, it's great. It's great. And I think everybody will realize the same thing simultaneously when they see the video.
I'm like, oh, don't make her. If you've ever been pro Annie or pro Ryan, this is the time to be pro Annie. Do not come and tell me to wear this costume. Yikes. Watch it. Reserve your spot on the premiere.
I disagree.
Happening at 3 o'clock. And I'm sure, I think this is sabotage, and I'm starting to get onto your game here.
Oh, yeah. It's like Beastie Boys 94. We're going all the way in.
Weekends America when we come back. I just decided. Don't go away.
Okay.
I saw you dancing in a crowded room. You look so happy when I'm not with you. But then you saw me, caught you by surprise. A single teardrop.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Asked me why I broke your heart. You could have told me that
Cassonscan.com. Cassons & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Wagoneer. Vehicle shopping made right at this generationally owned and operated Cassons & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Wagoneer. So many people for so many decades have relied on Cassons to provide a really reliable, trustworthy, and positive car buying experience. I am a multi-time customer of Cassons, and I encourage you to give them the opportunity to earn your business the way they have earned my repeat business. I've been buying cars with them when I wasn't on the air talking to you about them because I really do trust them. Their sales staff is very experienced. They don't have high turnover at all. They have the same people who want to sell there because they know that when you sell cars the right way, people come back and become repeat customers like myself. When others can't, Cassons can. They're located in Glen Carbon. You can get onto 270 and go north a mile on 159 and you are right there. So it's really accessible for people in Missouri and Illinois. 618-800-2712 is the number to call. Tell them Annie sent you. 618-800-2712. 618-800-2712. Cassonscan.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Weather can be unpredictable nowadays, but your local news station on the free Odyssey app has got you covered. Whether you need an umbrella, windbreaker, or an extra layer, or 2, we'll let you know. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station to listen on your smartphone or ask your smart speaker to play it before you head out the door. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station. That's AUDACY.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Navigating healthcare can be tricky, but you don't have to do it alone. The Navigator Project is here to help Missourians every step of the way. We provide free, personalized assistance with enrollment in the healthcare marketplace. We'll guide you through your options, help find the right plan, and get the coverage you need. Go to ma4web.org and select the Services tab to find a navigator. Brought to you by the Missouri Association of Area Agencies on Aging.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Replace your old furnace or HVAC system and save up to $2,100 with Carrier Cool Cash rebates. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
News that's on time. Download the Odyssey app and dip in whenever you want and stay on top of what's happening. 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app.
What I like about you, you're
Wiggins.
Oh! Monday Roundup. Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
All right, a little bit later than usual, but these are all the stories that you might have missed over the weekend. You can't even keep up with the top line news of the weekend, so there's no way you're going to know this stuff. All right, the first one is 46 people were hospitalized after eating a homemade meal prepared by their coworker.
How many?
46 people at one business in Maryland.
Oh, that's terrifying.
They don't know exactly what it is, probably some sort of food poisoning, but it has been really bad. But the reason that I brought this up is because apparently we are going to be, dining together a little more often because we're going to be hanging out for at least election night. I just want to make sure that we're okay with me not bringing anything now because I'm worried about this.
I always buy you guys dinner.
Yes, you do.
You don't bring anything.
But I'm just making sure that this time it's because of this.
It'll be okay.
Yeah. So it's okay if I don't bring anything this time, just out of concern for your safety, right?
No.
Oh, you do want me to bring something?
Yes.
It's going to have E. coli.
No,
That's
no.
okay.
It had better be store-bought.
No.
No, you can still bring it, but it's got to be sealed and store-bought.
No, it's going to be old. It's going to be expired. And
just like you. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Just punctuation.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Again, most important news that you missed this weekend. Timothy Chalamet crashes a look-alike contest for people trying to look like Timothy Chalamet.
Who I now know because he's Wonka in the most recent Wonka movie, which is wonderful.
But you're also a huge fan of Dune.
I don't know. I don't know. Is that a game?
Well, it might have been a game, too.
It's 2 movies, and it's, what is it, a book series?
Is it good?
It is a classic book series. People love the books. The movie, I liked the first one. They're epic. They're huge. They're long movies. I'm trying to watch the second one. I can't really get into it. I don't know.
I couldn't get into either one. I tried. I was like, I asked Carl. I was like, Carl, do I need to watch the first one and watch the second one? He's like, yeah. So I tried watching the first one. I'm like, no. Then I tried watching the second one. No.
I do know that to rule the world, you have to rule the spice. You have to control
Makes your eyes blue.
The spice. Now,
man, I checked out of this
that
conversation. I don't know what we're talking about.
Don't worry about it.
Are we still what?
So Timothy Chalamet has
that a Dune thing?
crashed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a Dune thing.
Well, I thought we were talking about what you were bringing to the event.
No, that mine will have no spice. It's going to be bland. It's going to be disease-ridden. And I was trying to avoid it, but I will bring it. Timothy Chalamet has crashed his own look-alike contest. I got to tell you, when I read this, I'm like, if I were a big enough celebrity, that's all I would do.
Did you
this kind of
see
weird
the video of it?
Bill Murray stuff? Yeah, I did. People loved it.
The video's pretty great.
Yeah, people weren't. So was there a moment? Because all I saw was just a bunch of like B-roll reaction to
dark hair, curly hair people.
Yeah, all kind of look like him, but not that close. Like you could tell that one of them looked a lot like Timothy Chalamet, and it was Timothy Chalamet. But
is he? I don't know anything about him other than he was Wonka. Is he American?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
I assume, but I don't know.
Like Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Middleton.
Hiddleston. Yeah, he's Loki.
Oh yes.
He's British, maybe.
Yeah.
British.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know that if you. He was Loki to me.
Says he's American French.
Well, Chalamet. That's what I was wondering. Like if he is.
He's American.
But you see these people sit down and do interviews with people, and then there's British. You're like, you are very good at being American.
Yeah, I agree. And you always know when somebody's doing a fake British accent, but you can never tell when they're doing an American accent. I don't know why that is.
Well, Americans have their own accents. So you could be from any particular place in the country and sound a little bit different. Other than us, we sound normal.
British people have that too.
They sound like fake Americans sometimes?
Regional accents.
Oh, yeah, totally.
No, they don't. They all sound British. And
sound
smart.
British, yeah.
And I'm always envious. I just like to listen to them speak.
I like to go to bed to a nice Cockney accent.
That's a lot.
Like somebody just reading.
Yeah, I don't really know what you're
like
talking
Dick
about.
Van Dyke and Mary Poppins.
What I thought you were talking about is probably not what you were talking about. Go on.
Yeah. Infamous artwork of a banana duct taped to a wall is headed to auction. Here's what the buyer will actually get for $1.5 million.
I got bananas.
And you are probably wondering, there's got to be more to this. No, it is actually a banana that somebody bought at
there is more to this. It's
store.
money laundering.
And they taped it to a wall, and now it is one of the most famous pieces of arts in the world. It is a commentary on art itself, Annie. And it will go for at least in the hundreds of thousands, but they're guessing $1.5 million for banana taped to wall.
Vicky says that Kelly Riley, who plays Beth Dutton in Yellowstone, is one of those actors. That's another one that when I saw her in an interview, I was like, whoa! Because, oh man, Beth, I don't want to say goals, but let me just put it this way. Relatable.
I've never seen the show,
No.
so this is like us talking about
she's
Dune.
exactly like you. Go on.
I don't know how to take that because I don't know the reference. Jimmy John's announces that they are doing a pickle witch. This is a pickle
With a Cockney
instead of bread. No, but it would be a pickle witch. The pickle witch would be coming to Jimmy John's
No, do the
locations.
whole thing like that.
The pickle witch will be coming to Jimmy John's. I don't even know. That's not Cockney.
No, it's not.
But I like it. Whatever it is, I'm going to do it. Next week for a limited time. Allowing customers to swap out their bread.
Let me just use this as a moment to tell you that you really need to watch the YouTube premiere of our Halloween costume shopping experience at Johnnie Brock's for no particular related reason. You will want to see it. It's going to air directly after this live stream and this broadcast gets done on YouTube. Go on.
If you're concerned
Ryan
about what
Shire.
the pickle witch is, they change out the bread for a pickle.
Pickle guy?
Yeah, I like pickles.
That's
I
what
don't
I
know
heard.
that I would
Brad?
eat this
Pickles are
sandwich.
good.
This sandwich doesn't sound that good, though.
Are you pro dill pickle, pro bread and butter, sweet?
I do
gherkin?
not like
What do you do?
sweet pickles. I actually like pickled beets a lot. I just had them this weekend.
That's not the same thing.
No.
That's a process, not a
Yeah,
not a
but
product.
pickled.
Dill only?
The sweet pickles are an abomination.
How many dill spears will you eat at a table? Because people won't eat them. Are you eating everybody's dill spear?
Yes.
There's always one.
I
You
know.
need to, otherwise it's wasteful.
I know. And the pickle spears that
Ryan
come
is
with the
Mr.
sandwich.
You're going to eat that.
Oh, I totally am. The ones that come with the sandwich, too, I don't know what it is. They're so much better than just eating them out of a jar. And by the way, pickled
That's
beets
because
are great.
a sandwich is always better when someone else makes it for you.
I agree.
This is true.
The pickle was laid there for you by somebody else. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Pickle was laid. Last story.
On the plate.
The Great Resignation, the Big Quit, the Great Realization. These are all terms that have been tossed around in the last 4 years regarding the economy. Now, the next one that they're worried about is called the Silver Tsunami. Any guesses as to what the Silver Tsunami is?
People retiring.
This is the boomer generation beginning to retire.
Leftovers from estate sales.
Silver Tsunami. This is all the stuff that people wouldn't buy from estate sales.
You mean I have to polish
They
that?
say it's going to be a huge weight on the future of the American
I'm gonna
economy.
spend that on that, not use it, and have to polish that?
Yeah.
False.
Can I get just the Garfield glass out of that box? I don't want the rest of all the silverware.
Nope, you have to take the box, sir.
That's the one Garfield glass I don't have.
I'll take it, but I'm only going to give you half.
So this is a concern. It's kind of the thing that when you first glance at it, you go like, well, people are always retiring and there are new people coming into the economy. The problem is that so many boomers are in the trades, and there are so few people coming into those trade jobs. Now, there is a resurgence, but it's not happening fast enough to replace all the trade jobs that are about to go under because of boomers
I was just
retiring.
talking to my son this weekend. We were talking about high school stuff, grades or something, and we said something about, I think my husband said something about in the state of Illinois, if you finish in the top 20%, you might get free JUCO college or something like that. Is that a thing? I had never heard that before. Or
I don't know.
I don't know. But that was the lead into the conversation. And my son was like, what's JUCO? He didn't understand junior college. You don't understand any of that stuff when you're 14. But we were explaining to him what it was. And I said, you know, if you don't know 100% of what you want to do when you get out of high school, you can take these gen eds, get them out of the way, and then you can maybe go to SIUE or another university or take classes online for what you really want to do. I said, or maybe you end up wanting to go to trade school. And he kind of looked at me. He didn't know what trade school was, so I explained that, and he's like, I don't know if he's a manual labor kind of guy, but I told him like the amount of money that is going to be in learning a trade. I talk to Corey Malone at Air Comfort Service about this all the time. Learning a trade. We were talking with a roofing company, Lakeside Roofing in Collinsville, just recently, like the need to hire tradesmen it's never been more valuable to have a trade right now, and that is just going to exponentially increase.
Yeah,
Go get a business degree if you want to get a degree, but learn a trade.
Speaking of Collinsville, they just redid their entire vocational center. I went to high school
it's oh my
there.
goes, it's massive.
Apparently, it's amazing.
Yes, state of the art.
The facility is necessary, though.
Yes,
it's not just we got to spend some money.
No.
It is so in demand that you've got to have training grounds for future tradesmen, and I'm glad to see that.
Well, I know Mascoutah sends kids up to the Collinsville Trade Center. You know, they bus kids in from all over the area to learn a trade. I took them in when I was in high school. It was great.
And also, I mean, generally speaking, if you're a tradesman, you're not going to be roofing when you're 60. And you may want to work, and you may want to work later than that. But are you going to be crawling around on roofs when you're 55, 60 years old? I mean, I would assume that the idea is not if I don't have to. Policing is very similar to that too. Like, you can be a police officer, but you're not going to want to be out on the streets chasing down bad guys when you know that you can't physically keep up with chasing down the bad guys.
Right.
People need to. Gosh, we've screwed up college so bad. We've screwed up the idea of higher education so bad in this country, and it's never been more expensive. And we've got politicians who are like, "How about for free?"
Yeah, how about we put more money into it?
I mean, like, when you think about that, when you think about how stupid higher education, the system that we have set up in this country, how dumb the system is set up for people right now, they should be employee and employer factories. You should come in and you should get out as fast as you can to be a productive member of society to whatever extent you want to be a productive member of society. It is the opposite of it. And then you're like, why is the system so stupid? And the government's like, we'll loan you the money and you don't have to pay it back. You have to ask yourself, what is so valuable to the people who are promising you that your education, that you can go anywhere and get a loan for anything, and then wink, wink, maybe not even have to pay it back? What are they doing in college that is so important that they make it free? And you already know the answer to that question, don't you? It's really a scam.
I went to college in the early 2000s, and that was before people were having this discussion as much. But now, what I was realizing as a communications student in the early 2000s is 100% true now. Why am I doing this?
Yeah. I have a communications degree, and I don't need it to be here. I worked my ass off to be here.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
Right place, right time, work hard.
Much more in, like, having a year of experience in a business like this versus having a 4-year degree is so much more valuable. That's not true of every degree, but a lot of them are that way.
Showing up, who you know, and what you do with where you are and who you know while you're there. That's what it's all about in a lot of industries. Not everyone. Please, doctors, go to school.
Yeah, engineers.
Broadcasters.
Learn it.
Just go learn. Show up. Ask for an internship. We'll be right back.
That's what I like about you. That's what I like about you.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloor.com. What a long-time, wonderful sponsor of 97.1 and the Annie Fry Show. Michael's Flooring Outlet knows what it means to compete with other people who are doing something, maybe not like entirely. You go to buy flooring at the same place that you buy your appliances? Do you go to buy flooring at the same place where you go to buy your, paint color or your closet organization? That doesn't mean that you can't do it there or that it's going to not be a great experience. But when you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet, they are fully, totally, and completely dedicated to your flooring experience. They understand the technology that goes into the TechWood Plus line of hardwood flooring, or maybe some other alternatives, luxury vinyl plank, actual hardwood that you might put into your home. They understand the investment in it, and they understand how to communicate your needs with what they have to make sure you are a satisfied customer at the end. They have 3 locations where you can go check them out in store if you're interested in St. Charles County, West County, or Darien Prairie. But you can go shop online right now, including request an estimate, and see all of the different products they have at igotfloored.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Right now, 38 states allow for sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 professional soccer teams, the KC Current and St. Louis City. These days, Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much, but the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor are both supporting Amendment 2 because it means more money for education. Amendment 2 isn't like the lottery. There's a strong constitutional guarantee. The new money from sports betting will go to our schools. $100 million for education without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Vote yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges. So know your judges before you vote November 5th. Visit yourmissouriJudges.org. That's yourmissouriJudges.org.
Paid for by the Missouri Bar, Misha Epps, Executive Director.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how. Learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the Hilton Frontenac, Saturday and Sunday, November 9th and 10th. Register now at DelHelpMeNow.com. That's DelHelpMeNow.com. Enter promo code 2024 for a special discount offer. DelHelpMeNow.com. Code 2024.
We went to Johnny Brock's last week, and we filmed a little video that I don't remember half of it. Some of the things that Annie was talking about in this show, I'm like, I did that? I'm looking forward to seeing the premiere that's coming out right at 3, so this will be in 10 minutes. If you're with us online, you can see the premiere of that video as well. I'm going to also watch that and try to remember what we did. at Annie Fry on YouTube. So it'll be premiering on YouTube. Subscribe there as well. $2.50. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show.
Ethan just asked if this was Christmas music.
Anything
fair,
can be
it sounded
Christmas
like
music.
pentatonic.
Anything can be Christmas music if you listen to it in a Christmas mood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there yet.
Do you know this song?
No.
Still?
Hold on. Annie, you can't give me crap for not knowing this song when there are so many
this has become
80s rock bangers out there that
Listen,
you have
though.
like, is this
Yes,
Kiss?
you're not wrong, but this is now personally offensive to my age. Usually I'm offending people who are older than me, but this hurts me.
But
Listen.
it's different when I'm the one offended.
Baby, it's about baby born in a manger. He's right.
It's like blasphemy.
That's like when he talks.
Does this sound familiar?
Again, let me turn it up in my ears here.
There's no more. No, you either know it by now or
no,
you don't.
I don't. I got nothing. I'm sorry.
Man, Seal is married to Heidi Klum.
Do you know who Heidi Klum is?
I do know who Heidi Klum
I'm
is.
sure.
I do know who Heidi Klum is. I'm aware.
That's one of those songs that when it was out, I was like, here we go. And then I hear it now, I'm like, this is a good song.
That's a great song.
This is a banger.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin? Batman Forever?
That song was in Batman
Yes.
Forever?
I can't remember which
heck yeah.
Batman.
I mean, I think it was part of the soundtrack. Like, that's where it came from. It originated with that movie.
It was released with it. I don't think that people who lived after digital music consumption can understand how a song could be so big for so long, because we just, we all grew up in radio time as listeners, being millennials. You listen to the radio. You've probably heard people talking about this, but you'd have a cassette player and you would just sit by the radio and you'd wait for your song to come up, and then you'd quickly push the record button and the play button at the same time, and then that ridiculous DJ would talk over the intro of it and maybe, try to get it into the outro of the song. And then forever, when you listen to that song, you'd have that DJ and whatever they said associated with the song that you would record.
It sounds terrible.
And then you'd pause it after you listen to the song, and then you'd wait for another one. You make a mixtape.
So, that was that did any of you ever make a mixtape for someone or get one made for
Sure,
you?
CDs. We'd burn CDs more.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever made mixtapes for people, but I
Ever
definitely
like a
made tapes for myself.
High school boyfriend or girlfriend
I made CDs for my wife that she still has and are now mine again. They're just in the house.
Now that's true.
Yeah.
I had a CD made for me from somebody one time, and it was post-relationship.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Was it songs like I Miss You and stuff like that?
I think one of the literal songs was I Miss You by not Blink-182, but not Sum 41.
Ooh. You know what we should do one day?
It started out
Review
really
it?
angry.
Is just play the Batman Forever theme, the tracks, because it was that one. It was U2's Hold Me, Kiss Me, Cut Me, Thrill Me, or whatever that was. Remember that one?
No.
I'll look it up. Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me. Oh, it was a huge song.
I probably hear it. I was not a big U2 person when I was younger.
I wasn't
I
either.
like them
but
more now.
I like their 90s stuff more than their 80s stuff, which is really lame.
Don Phillips just comments here, Casey Kasem. Yes, when you listen to Casey Kasem, and if I say that, you know what that sounds like right now. If you would listen to him play his top, how many, was it 40? Would he go through the whole thing?
They still play those.
Old ones.
Yeah,
Yes.
on 103, I think.
That was the best time to do it because you knew you were going to get all the latest hits.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a song that every time I hear it, at the end of it, I think of the DJ talking. And it was the Eels and Novocaine for the... And then it cuts off.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. And I remember LimeWire and Napster and all that stuff when you could all of a sudden have access to... I've told the story about my first MP3 player. It would come like an onboard hard drive, and I think it held 5 songs. But 4 longer songs or 6 short songs.
Yeah.
And I would cut the grass. My parents have a farm, and I would cut the grass, which would take me hours, and I would just listen to the same 6 songs over and over. It had the slot for the memory card in, but I didn't know what a memory card was.
Yeah.
What the heck? What? I'm trying to blow in the Nintendo video game. How do I make this thing work? It's ridiculous. Ender says LimeWire, Virus City. Yep.
Oh, yeah, it was. And then they'd mislabel all the songs.
Yes.
Download a song, and you'd be like, oh, I like this band. And you find out years later, that's not even from that band.
Yeah, no kidding. Ethan, you want to take us home with the YouTube poll results for today?
Yeah, let's get it. 323 votes for today's YouTube live chat poll. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? 91% say yes.
Donald Trump!
Just kidding. No, they all said no. 91% said no.
Vote Trump.
Who's better off? 9% did say yes.
Yeah,
so.
I saw a comment that said, I voted yes. Just to screw around with the poll. Thank you. On the Annie Fry YouTube channel right now, if you want to tune in right there, in 3.5 minutes, you're going to be able to see the premiere of our shopping for Halloween costumes for Thursday's 2 p.m. hour. Make sure you get on there, subscribe, watch with us. The Mark Reardon Show's next.
It's that time again, where we choose who we think is the best candidate for office. It's a difficult decision that requires the evaluation of contenders. Do they have the appropriate skills and experience for this office? Are they the right type of leader? Do they have a clear vision? Selecting the right candidate is no easy feat. That's why, for your office, there's ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes choosing the right candidate for any office easy because they only find and send you the most qualified people for your roles. Best of all, they do it fast. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, while you're thinking about that really big decision, rest assured that any other hiring decision will be much easier when you use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If you're planning to sell and also buy a home in the near future,